Yeah, so last time the morning before the election, the party was browsing social media to see the fallout of karaoke night. Conrad even made some decoy accounts to troll whiskey, which was entertaining. Um, Alexandra delivered an update on the investigation into Whiskey's financial records, namely that the payments he made line up with the Marauder attacks, which included one that happened during the political debate. The party intercepted the attack, killing 4 Marauders and taking a fifth one prisoner. As for the debate itself, that was happening in the background, but it'll be what we start with to make up for lost time regarding Blitz's absence. So let me just go over to the right set of notes. So first, I will bring us over to the new map that I made at the Government Operations and Assembly Center.
Oh, that one
Oh.
nice.
Castro?
Yeah, just as a joke.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Aspiring to be.
So yeah, there is a full crowd here. I just didn't bother dragging out like what it was like 36 different tokens, or however many that adds up to. I think 36. But basically, like in the seats, you've got a mix of like Wayland Corps representatives, reporters for Terra Nova News Today, people in the same sort of management division that Conrad would be in. So it's a busy house full of high profile you know characters, and then you've got because of the Marauder attacks, the political candidates, and all these big wigs. There's a larger than average security presence. So um, there's an introduction where once everybody's gathered, it's presented by Sky. So she says, good morning, everyone. This is the long-awaited political debate. It was it moved ahead of schedule. Uh, as some of you know, I am Sky Henderson, and for our candidates here we have. And she looks at El's president is saying Arturo Presidente, and people applaud Castro.
Yeah, I'm gonna like put my fist up in the air and
Yeah, the classic dictator pose.
oh yeah.
So
Strength.
and then she says, and then to my left is, and then Whiskey interrupts. She's like, Steve Stevenson, but everybody calls me Whiskey. And she says, right. Well, we have a set of questions here that will be asked to both participants. So my question to Blitz: do you want Whiskey to answer first so you can absolutely smoke him in your response, or do you want to go first to like establish dominance?
We could take turns.
Okay, well, for the first question, do you want him to answer, or do you want to?
Yeah, we'll have it alternate.
Okay, sure. So for the first question, so she reads from the because basically like everybody has one of those little like microphone podiums. So she says, on behalf of Sheriff Jones, the Terra Nova security garrison has sustained losses over these past few months. Despite the influx of new colonists on the Ninth Pilgrimage, that doesn't do much to ease the sheriff's concerns. What measures would you put in place to strengthen the colony from future external threats? So Whiskey answers, I'm glad you asked, Miss Henderson. We have a lot of unaccomplished young men here in Terra Nova who haven't joined the workforce and are more interested in playing violent video games. If I am elected, I'll be lowering the minimum age requirement to join the security division from 18 to 12. If you're old enough to commit mass shootings in those video games like Duty Calls Combat Evolved and Rainbow Siege New Vegas, you're old enough to put your life on the line and serve the colony. And Sky, well, like there's definitely some some murmuring, but somewhere in the background here, woo, from somebody in the audience, like the one person who approves.
Whiskey brought his mom, yay.
No, it sounds suspiciously more southern. But anyway, so Sky kind of winces slightly at that, horrified, and she says, Mr. Presidente.
Well, first off, none of that. And And second, I've thought a lot on this problem, and I propose issuing sidearms to more regular work positions. So that, say, a mechanic, if all of a sudden a ship full of Russians are falling out of the sky
Like
in front of
paratroopers.
Dave the mechanic, he can just shoot them.
Okay. Definitely better than child soldiers. And also, hey John. Oh. So, okay. Next question. So Sky looks to you and says, on the subject of security, I'm sure all of us are too desperate to deal with these Russian marauders that have been threatening Terra Nova. What's your agenda for dealing with them? Like referring to like a long-term solution.
Okay, and I start this time?
Yeah, because Whiskey did last time.
Yeah. Well, the primary issue would be finding out when they're coming, if they're coming. We were caught off guard before, and I believe the best solution for that is to improve security measures, perhaps a radar system, something of that sort. Then we can react in time.
Okay. So with that in mind, then she turns to Whiskey and he says, "Well, here's my plan, which we'll call the Terra Nova New Deal." And he does like the whole like finger frame kind of gesture with his hands. Um, like the photo frame says, we'll pay them to stay away from us, and while they keep their word, we'll build a wall to keep the Russians out, and then make them pay for it, so we get our money back and get a nice wall built around the colony. My backup plan, because every leader needs one, is that we'll organize a new unit of the Terra Nova security team, an elite unit of operators dedicated to hunting down insurgents. We'll call them Whiskey's Warthogs, named after my unit that I served with in Somalia.
Uh-huh.
And then Sky raises an eyebrow and there's like a sound like quack noise. Like she just raises her eye in like disbelief. So
Quite the competition.
yeah. Next question.
Yeah, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull this off.
So after raising her eyebrow, she says, "Right. It has been brought to my attention by Agent Lattimore that Wayland Corps wishes to establish a second colony here on Koi 416D, potentially also on Nova Pangea. What policies and measures do you gentlemen plan to put in place to help establish a second colony?" So Whiskey goes first. He says, "I'm glad you asked. What'll happen is that the women's will do all the menial labor around the colony while the men go out and do the actual work. That's how it should be and how it will be when I'm elected as a supervisor." And Sky, like, I'll say, El Presidente, you can see this from like your side that she kind of clenches her fist at the profoundly sexist remark. So, but I mean, she maintains like an outward like calm demeanor, but she's definitely kind of incensed by that comment. But she says, "Duly noted, Mr. Presidente."
I'm just going to avoid the question entirely by saying, all right, guys, seriously, what? Why are we here? You really want to hear what this guy has to say anymore? What this guy has to say? I think he's kind of shown his position on the issues. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, at this point, I feel like it probably isn't too difficult to come to a conclusion.
And Whiskey says like, "Objection! Shut the fuck up!"
Does anyone have any marbles? I feel like a marble thrown at this guy's forehead would be
And so Sky basically raises her hand and says, Gentlemen, let's keep this respectful. She says that she like her eyes dart over to Whiskey. Um, and so for the next question, so do you have an actual answer to the third question or?
Yeah, I mean, not a very good answer, but all right. Clearly, what's been working on Terra Nova will continue to work in more similar conditions. There's no need to enslave women. That feels a bit unnecessary to me personally
How
for
comes the
a
Trump vibe
variety of
again?
reasons.
The
God.
way he's saying it just kind of cracks me up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is that your answer? Just to make sure there
I
wasn't more.
guess.
Okay. So the next question, um, so, uh, so the fourth question, which I believe Whiskey answered the last one first.
Yes.
Okay, so she says, I'm sure you both know this, and it's been a perpetual issue for some time, but the colony has been in quite the recession. What plans do you gentlemen have to bring us back from the brink and make the colony profitable and prosperous again? And she looks at El Presidente first, like, Whiskey is absolutely taking a backseat on this one after what he just said.
All right. I'm going to put both of my hands up on the podium and sort of grip the side to show everyone that I'm serious. There's a corruption issue in the current Terra Novan leadership. And it has come to my attention that not only are a large portion of the profits being skimmed off the top and going to certain members of leadership, but in addition to that, the average worker, their salaries are being cut and pocketed by the evil elites. I mean, the corrupt leadership.
The fact you just like slide into that voice so easy, Blake.
Yeah,
It's
just
amazing.
he just trumped out for a
Fuck.
second there. So, um, okay, and you hear like people like there's some gasping in the crowd, some murmuring, and like you can see like the people in the front row seats like just like furiously writing this stuff down, like this is some big news of this corruption. So there's that. Is there anything more on that subject? I'll take.
Nope.
Okay. So she slowly turns to look at Whiskey, and he says, the answer is so simple, even a woman could figure it out. Tariffs. Lots of tariffs to the point where we should rename the colony Terra Nova. Not only that, but we up the prices on the shit we're exporting. We're getting shafted, people. More give than take, and I plan to change that. And like by this point, like Sky, I mean, her eyes are narrowing. She's like clenching both fists on the table or on the podium. And Whiskey's there just with his big shit-eating grin, his Oakleys.
Is that even something that's in our control, being like a company colony?
That's what I was waiting for.
I don't think like foreign policy is really.
Yeah, exactly.
Sitting here listening to this rant, I have like a vein, like a nerve twitching near my eye. Like, oh my god, I would have. I know it's just a character, but I would have strangled this person.
I mean, that's you're not alone. I feel like I need some mouthwash every time he gives his answers. Anyway, so there's that.
I'm gonna implement a draft, but just for this guy.
You're using his own policy against him. Oh, the hubris, the
Give
irony.
this dangerous, insane man a firearm immediately.
So, um, so this guy says, lastly, what other policies do you plan to implement to put Terra Nova back on top? And I believe you went last time, so Whiskey goes. He says, Um, other than all my other brilliant ideas like the child soldiers, whiskey's warthogs, women staying in the kitchen where they belong, and the tariffs, I plan to have a council where they come up with all the ideas and I take credit for them as the Colonial Supervisor. That's what the command staff is meant for, you know?
I'm actually gonna nod with him on that one.
He ain't lying.
I wasn't expecting you to agree with him. I mean, I should have,
Saying the
but
quiet part out
Jesus.
loud.
Okay, so
Well, he didn't say it out loud.
okay, well,
Just nodding along quietly.
well, what are you,
Whiskey did.
what are you gonna say? This guy then turns to look at you.
Well, to go into the situation with too many preset plans, I believe would be foolish. I don't have the information, I don't have the reports that tell me what actions may need to be taken. So I plan on the first day to have reports compiled from every department and begin drafting plans based off of the information I have available to me. And potentially drafting this individual right here, just him.
Whiskey like sort of twitches, like jumps to the side, looking has this like what the fuck kind of look on his face and his body language.
He can be his own warthog.
And over here, like Mike muffled. He is a warthog.
That is all.
Now, I'll say, as you are saying this, because this is about the point where it lines up with what the other players are doing, you see almost like this like Order 66 moment where this lady and this dude, like, they put their ears on their, like, radios, and you hear her say, yes, sir, and they start moving up onto the stage, but here's the thing. This lady, she goes past you, and they start arresting Stevel. He's like, wait, whoa, what the heck? And this guy says, Steve Stevenson, by order of Sheriff Jones and Vice Sheriff Ziems, you are under arrest for charges of threatening the colony, treason against Terra Nova. And obviously the audience is like gasping and like pictures are being taken and stuff. And Sky uh, still trying to avoid looking overly ecstatic about this, but she's definitely satisfied. You can tell that much. And Whiskey, like, he's like flipping out, and then the cops just take him out of the room, and you can hear him go no as he's like dragged away to an uncertain doom, or at least so he thinks. So,
Man,
are you saying anything else before we jump to the next scene?
Well,
Is there?
not that I believed he was going to receive a large portion of the vote before, but I suppose now there's not much of a choice anyway.
What a closing statement.
So, and you gets some people in the audience applaud. Some of them are more kind of reserved on the subject, but definitely the majority is like applauding uh, El Presidente's closing speech.
The ones
So
that don't clap, I'm gonna burn their faces into my memory.
Was there an
well,
applause when whiskey went away?
well, yeah. I mean, that's what people are. They're applauding by the speech, and they're applauding the. Hold on a sec. Okay. So, all right. So, that happened. So next, I would say, so like, is there anything anybody else wants to do with the rest of the day? Like, do you want to like meet up at Garvey's place or something, or do you want to just skip to the next day?
Hmm. Well, Conrad will be going to the doctors just in case to make sure that he's still
Okay.
alive.
Okay.
He's becoming quite a regular there. He's been,
Yeah, hypochondriac.
yeah, he's starting to
I
remember
stubbed
all
my
those
toe. It might
faces.
be fatal.
I'm all fucked
Well,
up.
yeah, yeah. I think I'm coming to understand how Mr. Fucked Up feels.
So, okay, so you're taking your 19th visit to the hospital. So for Simone, what are you doing?
Um, I think I'd probably just go back to the apartment and just like,
Just relax.
you know, yeah.
Okay. So
Oh boy.
I'll say that
Holding down the fort and
okay,
causing an invasion really takes it out of you.
yeah. So and also just to set like expectations. So I mean obviously I know you guys are going to want to interrogate Streletsky, the guy that you recovered, but I'll
Mm,
save that for Albert because I know he wanted to do that.
Hmm.
sure.
So I would say for uh like a day or so passes and I'll bring us over to this next map. Um, a day or so passes and El Presidente, you get a phone call.
Oh boy.
So
Uh, who's it from?
the caller ID is actually from the corporate director Audrey Lattimore.
All right, yeah, I'll accept that call.
And she says, basically in a nutshell, that you've been summoned by Colony Administrator Croft to the command center. A meeting is scheduled, and your presence is required.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
So, so I guess she schedules the meeting for like noon or so, like basically, or like whenever you would be available. Just kind of schedules a meeting, but says like if you have any like work obligations or anything, consider that dismissed for the time being. Um, so you make it in. I don't have art for either of them because they were just kind of like temporary characters, but I think I described before that Croft, like he's an older guy, graying hair, beard. Um, and then Audrey Lattimore is, a woman with like short, jet black hair, fancy suit, kind of, elite corporate lady. And so they welcome you into the office and into Croft's office. Actually, no, they would. What makes more sense is actually the map we were just on. Um, this would be like a meeting center, and down here. So they would. I'll just drag your token on. So you would be like here, I guess. And they tell you, uh, oh hey, Magus.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is.
I'm just gonna listen in
Okay,
to the session.
sure. I just want to mention to you right quick that so I told everybody else, but I know you wanted to interrogate the guy you recovered. I'll save that for next time you're able to play. Um, just so you don't miss out on that. But everything else will just kind of go as planned. Okay, so anyway, so you're summoned to the office, and long story short, Croft and Lattimore say, Well, between the votes that are coming in and the fact that you're technically running unopposed because Whiskey is in jail, he's been, he's been arrested for the time being. You were technically unopposed, and you have won the election to become the next colony administrator. So congratulations.
Thank you. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of effort. This was a close one.
And they just kind of look at each other and chuckle, and it's like close one, more like a landslide. So Croft says that he is going to be retiring, and you're going to be like basically this is the point where like power is handed over. He says during this meeting that per company protocol in this situation, you will have a few days to figure out who will be part of your administration. And the command staff that you choose will have your first conference in this very room once you've finalized your choices.
I see. So, does this mean that you are no longer colony administrator?
Effectively, yes.
Get out.
And they
You
just
wasted no time.
so then, well, are you saying that just to Croft or also to
The
Lattimore?
administrator. Everyone
Okay.
else can stay for now.
Well, it's just you, Lattimore, and Croft. So, Croft, like he just kind of looks at is like, well then, and I mean he doesn't say that, but that's kind of the look he gives Lattimore, and then he gets up and leaves. So now the central chair is yours.
Yeah.
You've usurped them in a matter of seconds. And so Lattimore says, well, you have the terminal on your desk there, and you will have full access to the Colonial Supervisor suite. Mr. Croft has is in the final stages of moving out, and especially after you just threw him out, he'll have more time to move out.
He moved out rather quickly.
I meant moved out of his suite, sir, not from the room. But she says, well, is there anything more you require of me? Any advice or anybody in your like some recommendations for your current staff or for your choice of staff? Because out of character, you can discuss this with the other PCs if you want to meet up with them. Which speaking of, I'll say that everybody, you're party to this because if you're wherever you are, if you're tuning into whether you're actually tuning into Terra Nova News today or you're just at the office getting gossip, you would hear that the El Presidente has been elected.
Oh
So,
yes, Conrad is monitoring the news very closely for the
Yep.
unsurprising results
Yep.
to see when
So,
they're confirmed.
yeah, so you are party to this. So as for El Presidente, so what are you saying to Lattimore? Like, is there anything you need her to do or any questions you have for her?
So, out of character, we have a player character for just about every position, right?
Well, so there are 7 seats in your council. You're one of them. 3. So Albert is like a mandatory pick as the sheriff. So the other positions you have would be the corporate director. I mean, this is all assuming you replace any or all of the following. You have the corporate director, the prospector general, the chief engineer, the union steward, and the chief scientist or the science advisor. So there are 5 seats to fill. You don't have to fire everybody in that position, but if you wanted to replace certain ones like Winslow and Havelock with people that or you could take recommendations from the other players, because there are 5 players, but keep in mind that one of them, Richard, I mean, he's technically just one of the grunts of the security force. You can put him in your administration if you want, but the thing you have to consider is that it isn't just like a narrative thing. Like there are actually rules you do to
Yeah.
develop the colony, so you don't want to just. I mean, you can pick anyone you want, but you have to be mindful of what they're actually good at.
Yeah. So, is there a page I can look at like later on to figure out,
Yeah.
what
Like if you,
position is what? And also, would you give me observer for everyone's character sheet?
in this case, no, because I don't know what kind
Okay.
of stuff people have on their sheets that they'd rather keep to themselves, especially with this campaign having kind of a theme of people playing their own agendas. I'm going to go with no on
Gotcha.
that. But in terms of your first question, yes, there are handouts for colony development rules. If you look under everybody should have access to this in the journal entry, the your colony entry.
Mhm.
Like there's a colony command team thing at the very bottom of the page that has the different roles and like what skills you use.
And out of character, just but Conrad has been thinking about this. Like he has ideas, of course, recommendations that can be struck down completely, of
And
course.
probably
But
will.
yes, but he has recommendations for every position. So if
Okay.
he wants to, if our new El Dictator, I mean El Presidente, wants to discuss ideas and stuff, Conrad will, just out of character, have a lot of suggestions there
El
to help with.
Presidente.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is Conrad nearby in the area?
I mean, you can call him in for a meeting here, and that goes
Yeah,
for everybody.
I'm gonna call him in to join us.
Okay. Are you just calling in Conrad, or are you also going to summon like Simone and
Fuck it.
whatever?
We'll bring in everyone. Why
Okay,
not?
Yeah,
so
that will be nice.
all right. So let's see. Where is the PCs folder? So I mean, I know Magus isn't feeling up for it, but I'll just have Albert there just so his character is party to what's going on. So Albert, Conrad.
If he wanted to say something in particular
Yeah, I
too, could
know,
always
but I know
just
he just said he wanted
send
to
a
listen,
message.
so that works too. So and then are you going to call Richard? And because I don't think you've actually met Richard. Or no, did
Uh,
you? Did you meet Richard?
We did. We did. He threw a great bunch of produce at
Yeah.
whiskey, and
Okay,
that's
yeah.
when we
All
introduced him
right.
to the group.
So
Yeah.
all right. So he'll
Maybe I
be
can make a new position for him. Like
He can be our
I don't
personal
know.
security. He
yeah.
can be a
Yeah.
personal bodyguard or something.
So he can be the bodyguard in the corner of the room if you want him to be.
El Presidente's secret police
Okay.
supervisor.
Secret supervisor. Okay, so you summon all of the PCs, and I would guess Lattimore, takes her leave if there's nothing else you want her to do. So by the time she's left, is when like she leaves long in advance of everybody else showing up. But next thing you know, you have uh all of your housemates and Richard all gathered in an office with you. So you guys just see El Presidente sitting in the supervisor's seat, puffing his endless cigar.
All right.
I just heard. Congratulations, Arturo.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
It was a hard fought victory. It was really close. Uh, obviously, of course. Nobody else could have won this except for me. Naturally.
I think that is evident, Shirley.
Exactly.
And don't call
So
me Shirley.
that's a good movie. Anyway. So the problem presents itself. Colony leadership roles. Now, of course, our sheriff is going to continue in the position he's in naturally. However, we're presented with the opportunity to replace any other individuals in the current leadership. Now, with everyone gathered here, I would like to Here's some thoughts on that.
May I speak up, Arturo? What is the role he's in now?
He's the Colonial Supervisor, but you can also call him the
Presidente
Colony Admin.
Presidente.
What?
Okay, Mr. Presidente, we'll just keep it at that. If I may speak up first, one of the departments that I have, in short, these past few days, on my free hours off work, I have been going around and basically talking to all the departments and gathering up reports. I can hand them over to you if you want, but I would be glad to summarize them in short to not waste your important time. Basically, some of the departments that are most struggling are the prospecting department, where, with my assessment, the leadership is not adequate, and it seems that the staff there agrees as well, especially the long-term experienced staff that have been there from the start, that have helped build this place. They say that the current leadership is not up to the task, and if I may, I would absolutely and fully recommend our friend here, Simone Kowalski, to take up that position, if of course she is willing. But in these past few days, she has shown an adaptability and willingness to take up any responsibility, any role, and she has been more than helpful, enthusiastic, and with well enough creative ideas that I believe will
Yes.
support.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Say no more.
Please.
And then he just turns his pages. Okay. The other department that I have noticed great trouble, and I think the rest of us here have also heard it, the engineering department. We have some problems there. We have to be very delicate because it is one of our most profitable ones. But the leadership there is, I think, problematic. It seems that the main honcho, Mr. Havelock, has been overworking his people and has been not taking the precautions needed. And even though it is the most profitable, it seems that the workers there are not getting enough compensation for their actions, and they're becoming more frustrated, more sloppy, more accidents are happening. I would recommend that he be replaced. The person there that seems most capable, that has the most freshest new ideas is, and he just looks at his notes again, as do I IRL, is Daniela, called Danny Muniz. She has shown to be relatively capable. I've looked over her file, and she seems that she would be a good position for this. She seems that she has what it takes to keep up the productivity, but
Schedule a meeting.
Okay, I will
Okay.
arrange a meeting with her.
Are you going to like call her into the current conference, or do you want to talk to her one-on-one?
We'll do one-on-one.
Okay. I'm assuming you want to schedule a meeting with her later.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll set it for like immediately after this.
Okay.
As for the other departments, like the union representative, the little contact I've had with her, she seems to have a good pulse on how everything is going on here, and she was one of the assisting parties that helped me kind of root out where the corruption and misgivings are coming from. I believe that at least for now, she would be good to have on still. She seems like she has the will of the people here, which for our your transitioning government here would be quite useful. That's just my recommendation there. And the out of question, the head science officer, is that the same person as the medical the chief medical officer that
Oh
Conrad
no, it's
has?
a separate
No,
role.
no.
I don't know. I don't know if you've met the guy yet, but he, from what you
So I don't
gathered, he
know.
is.
Mhm.
Well, I would say because I think I made this. They were like out of context notes, or like out of game notes that he. There's definitely not any kind of like controversy around him like there is with people like Havelock and Winslow. So,
Mhm.
for in the absence of a quote unquote better candidate, there's no reason not to keep him on board.
In fact, there's not a lot of anything around him. I don't think I've even heard his name.
I think I mentioned his name at the start of
Yes.
the game, but he hasn't. Nobody's really sought an audience with him or polled about his approval with the colonists, that kind of thing.
Science
So
is nerd stuff anyway.
Yeah, so with the runnings I've had with the medical and science department, nobody seems to be complaining about the leadership. They have other troubles that I can preview later if you're interested, but they don't seem to have any problem with their leadership there. So I have no specific opinions or recommendations there. And lastly, the company representative. Um, I believe that we might have a problem with Miss Lattimore. From the little information I have, it seems that Havelock and Lattimore have some sort of inner deal or something going on. I have suspicions about that. And honestly, I think they maybe have had connections with the previous administrator here. And I'm not sure what exactly, but I think it could be connected to the Marauders that some corruption has been going on between them. So, of course, the main administrator here is gone and is replaced by you, so he won't be a problem there. Though I don't know if you should allow him to leave before interrogating him maybe more to see what's been going on there, if he has been responsible for anything else, because I have some uh, questionable financial reports that I've dug up that I'm not sure what to make of. But I'm almost certain that our Lattimore, the head of the company representation here, uh, has some issues there as well. And it might not seem very humble of me, but I would like to offer my services to you, Mr. Presidente, to fill in that position if you would deem so fit. I would try to make sure that all of the boring administrative kind of the company stuff does not slow down the progress and missions that you have probably planned for this place.
I see. I want them both detained immediately.
what? What? Are you talking about Havelock?
Yes.
Oh God. Okay, well, I mean, you've got Albert and Richard in the room, and or you can send a message to, because I would say like probably for convenience we could say like tomorrow is when Jones gets phased out and Albert is like fully in charge, but even then Jones is pretty much handed over the ropes to Albert anyway. So but bottom line, you can place an arrest order on the two of them, Tropico style.
Immediately. Immediately. Like spare no time at all.
Okay.
Right now is the exact moment where they would be burning their shit if they didn't, anything that they forgot to burn yesterday.
Okay. So you're going. So you're placing. So I guess your like desk computer, you can send a message to the sheriff and send an arrest order. I think it's probably the easiest way to do it. So there's that. So you're going to have them arrested alongside Whiskey.
Yeah, put them in the same holding cell.
Okay.
We don't have a constitution here. Cruel and unusual punishment is allowed.
Oh, this is getting interesting. So, okay, so
I
you're
take a day off of Whiskey's sentence every time he sings a song to him.
well, you keep in mind you haven't you haven't taken Whiskey to court yet, but we're going to address that.
This is like it's like a prosecutor's deal.
Right. Well, either way, like I said, there is going to be a courtroom scene. So, but we need to hash out his new government. So let's see. El President of his government. That is so you've got just so I understand you accepted Conrad into the position.
Yeah, at least temporarily.
Okay, so as I understand it, so your administration, I mean, obviously you, Simone as the prospector general, Conrad as the um, corporate director, Albert obviously is the civil marshal, Sky and Jace stay in their positions, and then you're going to schedule an interview with Danny.
Yeah, and actually, another interview with the union head.
Okay, with the union steward that you were at the debate with. Okay. When are you going to want to meet with her? Like right after you talk with Danny, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. So you've got your administration set for the time being. All right. So yeah, is there anything you just because we'll go over like actual like colony development policies and stuff in a bit. But like this is basically the meeting where first you're establishing your command set. Well, actually, I mean, do you guys want to handle policies and stuff now? I guess it doesn't really matter, but if you want to, all the gangs. Or actually, no, you would never mind. You would need all members of your government present to do that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
so sorry. Okay. Well, so is there anything else you guys discuss while it's basically just the PCs? Well, just the 5 of you?
Nothing comes to mind from myself. Actually, one quick note as a player. I don't know if it's just me, but like looking at the colony initiatives, I have to like highlight everything in the journal here because it's in like light blue and the background is white.
Hold on. Yeah, basically what you need to do is go to configure settings in Foundry, and then go to Monk's Enhanced Journal and change background image to solid black.
Gotcha.
So that should do that. But yeah, in terms of colony initiatives, yeah, there's a lot to. What?
Background color?
No.
Background image.
Yeah, background image. Set that to solid black.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So if there's nothing left in the interview, then you guys are free to disperse. And I will say that on Arturo's way to like as you guys are piling out, you notice that there's actually like a crowd, including like some reporters gathered outside. There's applause when you step out of the building. Do you do any of like the like fist in the air gestures or anything? Or do you like like sign of the horns, like metal kind of shit? I don't know what you want to do, but
yeah,
ride out on a skateboard like Obama.
well, I'll do 2 fists in the air to let him know that I'm twice as serious.
Yeah! So yeah, you're approached by a nondescript reporter with clothing that identifies the guy as representing Terra Nova News today. He says, "Have anything to say to your people, sir? I'm sure the press would appreciate a few words, perhaps even a speech if you're willing. And he like holds the microphone like to your face so you can, if there's anything you want to say.
A new day on Terra Nova. And when every Novan wakes up tomorrow, they'll wake up to a different colony. A better colony. Paychecks will no longer be short. We're going to look at safety equipment so our workers aren't dying for no reason. We're going to deal with the corruption immediately. And we're going to implement measures to protect from the recent attacks. And then I thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, so, and the guy says that, and, meaningful words by our new colony admin. Next up, and then they just go to the guy that goes to the next story and, leaves you be.
Plays like a yogurt commercial.
Yeah, or athletic shoe ads or some shit. So, yeah, I guess, from your terminal back in the office you were just in, you could like schedule a meeting, summon Danny for a meeting at the Colony Ops Center. And also something funny I realized is that already, like, start of your administration, you already have 4 people in the brig.
Wait, who's the other guy?
The Russian that the party captured.
Oh,
lovely.
Intermingling.
They can all spill the beans.
Yeah, well, they're like, well, like the Russian like sees like first whiskey get dropped in, and then 2 other people he doesn't know get dropped in, and they're like, so what are you in here for?
Do we have a recording device in there?
You would have surveillance cameras.
Okay, and they get audio?
Yeah.
Okay. Just in case.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I'll just let you know they're not like planning an escape or anything. So.
Well, no,
anyway.
I wouldn't think that, but maybe somebody accidentally spills something that they didn't intend.
So anyway, yeah, pretty much. So yeah, you get a knock on the door while you're chilling in your cozy supervisor's office. And do you answer? Do you open the door?
I'm just going to yell out, "Let yourself in."
Okay. So the door opens and you see this fairly younger lady step in. She's in her work uniform, but you can tell that she you can tell like her hair is still kind of damp. Like she made the effort to take a shower and get cleaned up before coming in here. So that kind of gives you the vibe that she's definitely working class. But she says, well, thank you for having me in. I'm glad to meet you for the first time, sir. And she introduced herself as Daniela Muniz, or Danny works.
See, out of character, real quick. Now maybe this is bad, but it already kind of slipped my mind. Which position in particular?
She would be the chief engineer. She would be replacing Havelock.
Chief engineer. Okay. So, well, it's nice to meet you. I'm going to get straight to the point here, so as to not waste any of your time. How do you feel about Chief Engineer Havelock?
She kind of sort of finger tense a little bit, sort of tapping her thumbs together, says, well, he definitely isn't, or potentially wasn't, if you've changed your government by this point, the best boss, because he, worker safety standards took a hit, pay took a hit. It was disproportionate for for the amount of work that you know that us working class were doing. So
Would you say he was a bit of a douche?
he was not a nice person. I don't know if I would speak of him so harshly, but I definitely can't say I disagree with anybody who would refer to him as such.
I see. I see. You don't need to hold back. He's currently in a jail cell.
She sort of jumps a little bit. It's like, what did he do?
Well, for one, the pay being short, that money went somewhere. And we needed to stop him from destroying the records of where that money might have gone. Potentially, we can recover some of that. The goal is to solve the back pay, the money that was previously cut from everyone's wages. Now, unfortunately, if we're not able to recover the majority of that, then it's likely that the best we'll be able to do is just pay people fairly moving on.
And she
So
sort of,
the hope is that we'll be
wags
able
her
to
fingers
solve the
like, I
back
like
pay.
the sound of that. On behalf of myself and the working class, they definitely deserve better.
I thought you might. Now,
And
wild
I would just
hypothetical.
emphasize, like, you would also definitely pick up on the fact that she said they deserve better, like she was putting other people above herself. So
See. Now, wild hypothetical. If say you were speaking to the new chief engineer, or you had the power yourself, or something like that, what are the first acts you would take? What are the first things you would do, or suggest that someone do in that position?
Well, she says I would immediately see to it that my fellow workers are compensated for the months of effort they put into unfair pay. And I would see about also, restoring their salaries to what they were, what they were meant to be, and also perhaps, if the budget permitted, giving them a bonus as compensation for their efforts.
I see. And after that?
After that, I would see about basically she goes on to describe, like, pretty much just undoing all the bullshit that Havelock was doing, like, prioritizing safety over sheer production, while still kind of balancing production, just like not letting people just slack off, but not really go into the same extreme that Havelock was doing, trying to find a nice mix of safety, fairness, and productivity. She goes on to, I mean, for somebody who's basically just kind of like the like the working class, like, grunt, she actually has a pretty well thought out and logical plan for what she would do in that position.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to nod and sort of put my chin on my fist, like the thinking.
Yeah, what is it? The thinking man.
Yeah. I see. Well, congratulations. You will
For
be
what? Oh,
the chief engineer. You'll be
she
taking over from Havelock.
she kind of looks quite surprised, but still smiles a little bit. It's like, oh my, that's very generous of you, sir. Thank you.
Of course. Well, your new office, it's the first on the right, and I'll make sure that everything is set up for you.
And she says, "Of course, sir. Is there anything else needed of me at this time?"
As of now, that is all.
Okay. She says, "Well, thank you again, sir. I won't let you down." And she smiles, gets up, and takes her leave to check out the new office. Okay, so while that scene was going on for Conrad, Simone, and Richard, what are you guys up to? Are you doing anything together, or are you just kind of splitting up?
I've kind of gone and done my own thing.
Are you just walking around, or are you doing something specific?
Did you see the message I sent you?
Oh, I need to,
Just walking around.
Oh, no.
hold
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Copy that. I see your message.
Yeah.
I love the
So-
sound of the reactions.
So
I
I
just
love
like,
it.
wait, okay.
okay. Yeah. So okay. Okay. Are you gonna send that? Who are you sending that to? Are you sending that to the sheriff? Are you sending that to Albert? Are you sending that to El Presidente? Like, who's that going to? Or are you just putting it in the log?
In the log.
Okay. So, so he's doing that. So, Simone, what are you up to while El Presidente is interviewing Danny? Emily? Oh,
She
she.
went
So,
to take a quick
I
nap.
see it now. I know, stepped away. Okay, well, Conrad, what are you doing?
Conrad is going to he's going to go back to where he was working these past few days, and he's going to announce to his
I'm in charge
fellow
now,
colleagues,
motherfuckers.
basically, but with the in an extremely polite manner, with like there's no need to worry. We have gotten to know each other so well over these past few days, and I have come to really appreciate each and every one of you, which of course is bullshit. He's been here 2 days, and half of it has been in the hospital. But he's basically reassuring them, people don't have to worry. Nothing's going to really change. But yeah, things have. They will be reporting to him from now on, but they should not stop seeing him as just one of their own here at the managerial offices. Just one of the guys, you know. If
One of the
he could
guys,
do it,
except they all answer to you.
yeah. But if he could do it, anybody could. So keep on doing
Working
what
harder
you're
for the
doing.
company, it'll get you absolutely nowhere so long as you're in power.
Yes, but they make sure that they think that it's all okay. It's all they if they do their job correctly, they will be 100% protected, and they don't have to worry about any um questionable things that may have happened under the previous administration. Things will be different, and corruption will be rooted from the ground up. So they will not have to fear anymore, or if they have ever been under pressure to do anything miscellaneous. But he will extremely appreciate anonymously, of course, if any details of such private endeavors are sent to him, uh, which he will take into account as good faith gestures that will lessen the chances of any necessary purging. That won't be necessary. But
They kind of look around at the sound of purging.
he would have probably used some fancy words. Uh, Maybe restructural, organizational efforts. That if anything is found to be compromising the efficiency of this colony, would be dealt with. There will be consequences, but everything will be fair in the sense that everything that was is not to be feared, in the sense, if since things are now different, if people come clean, either in the open or anonymously send their info to his inbox, whatever his professional email he gives, that will be considered as a very good, important thing that will help make everything run even more smooth. But
Okay.
yeah, whatever has been happening, things now will be different, but not different at all. Basically.
Right. So
It's basically a confusing word salad there.
okay. Yeah, I was definitely confused, so it worked. Anyway, um, so Emily, I don't know if you're back yet, but if not, we'll just continue. Okay. So, yeah. So I guess, I guess going back to El Presidente, what are you doing next? Because you had your meeting with Danny, and you appointed her as chief engineer. So what are we doing next?
The union head leader.
Oh,
Meeting.
you're gonna interview Sky?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll drag her token onto the board. Um, so basically same procedure, I'm guessing, where you just call her, shout out to come in, and she comes in and says to you, congratulations on your win, Mr. Presidente. I had a feeling that you'd come out on top, and I think we both know why. Just as implicitly referring to whiskey being a fuckwad. Arturo?
If you're talking, we can't hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's still in the call, which is the strange shit.
Oh, I think
okay.
I see something from Simone. Ah.
I'm back finally.
Oh,
Sorry
okay.
about that.
All right. Well, Magus. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this screen. You guys can hear me, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I
because I know
can,
we
yeah.
had I
Yeah.
know we had problems last week briefly, but so I guess before jumping back over to El Presidente, I did want to give Simone a chance to do something. So, um, what are you up to in the aftermath of the meeting?
I suppose I'll go to, well, my new office just so I can start getting
Okay.
start going
Yeah, you can
through
drag yourself into the
records and
Prospector
stuff.
General's office if you want.
Sure. Let me. My token's not on the map.
Well, like I said, you can drag your token onto the map. You should be able to do that if not.
We can hear you now, Blitz.
Let me refresh the page in case it's just being weird on my end. So I can't drag myself on the page.
All right, I'll do
I don't
it.
have the. Yep.
Yeah, we can do it.
Oh, weird. Okay, well, there you are.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So did I just cut out while I was speaking, or?
Yeah, well, basically the last I heard of you was that basically you called in Sky for a meeting, but then after she congratulated you on your win, you went silent as the grave. So
Okay. I
but
didn't hear anything past when you said usual procedure.
oh, okay. Well, worry not for the time being. I decided to focus on Emily for a sec because she wasn't available when I
okay.
initially, so you didn't really miss anything.
All right, cool.
So you, so basically, yeah. So Simone, you go into your new, fancy office, and what are you doing?
I imagine there's probably like files and stuff on the terminal that I'll
Yeah,
be just going over.
yeah. Like in terms of the files, there's like there's nothing really questionable in them. Like there isn't anything like any logs or anything from Winslow that would arouse suspicion. Um, but there's basically like you basically it's like a lengthy archive of previous expeditions, and you can actually you can definitely see a pattern that lines up with what the one guy told you of like how there have been kind of rough patches where nothing has really been found. So like
Okay.
it's that kind of stuff that's on the logs. I don't know if you want to do anything else while you're in the office or on the computer, but
And you said there wasn't anything like really
there wasn't it.
suspicious sticking
Yeah,
out
like he wasn't
that I could
like taking
tell.
any profits or anything like that. Like
Okay.
there's nothing questionable in his conduct. It's that he was just more incompetent than anything else.
Okay. Um, what I'll be doing then, when you like switch over to Blitz, like the rest of this day, just going through like the logs of like, okay, this is where we've gone through, and just trying to like basically I'm trying to compile a list of like, okay, like where else can we
Okay.
look?
And I
Where
will
should we send
note
out our
that
next
that you will actually be able
thing?
to go on your first prospecting mission um either this session or next, because I know I've kind of kept you on hold long enough. But now that you guys have overcome the hurdle of El Presidente getting elected and now getting into power, that's changed.
Nice.
Okay,
And
so
no problem, man.
sure. So you are doing that. You're spending your afternoon doing that. So as for Blitzer, you're still with us?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sky, she enters your office, and like I said before, she greets you with like a, congratulations on your win, sir. I mean, I had a feeling that you'd come out on top, and I think we both know why.
Ah, yeah. It was a real close race. Naturally, I mean, man, tough competition. But yeah, anyway, so I called you in here because I'm just gonna sort of fiddle with something on my desk as I
Like
say
twirl,
this.
like sort of like a pen between your fingers, like sort of spinning
Yeah,
around. I guess that because it's something I find myself doing every so often with like a paintbrush or whatever.
yeah. But so from everything I've heard, uh, from the current council as it stands, um, you're probably the most competent in your current position. Now, there are a few individuals that I'm not familiar with, like the uh, chief of science. However, uh, outside of competence in position, I've heard that you've actually uh, gone a ways to sort of push back against some of the problems with individuals such as Havelock.
And she
Now, could you tell me a
says,
little bit about that?
yes. She says that, well, in terms of the company, like the hierarchy of the command staff, on one hand, I mean, she says, as you know, I represent the working class. I am, as some would say, the voice of the people. In the hierarchy of the command staff, I do outrank Havelock, but the problem is that Havelock was in sort of an alliance with the corporate director, who is several steps above me, and therefore she actively resisted all of my efforts.
Mm-hmm. In that case, I have a proposal.
All ears, sir.
I would like to put your position on equal level with the company representative.
Okay. I'm saying out of
Oh
character.
shit! Oh shit!
Okay.
Naturally,
Was not
that
expecting
does not
this.
mean that they would report to you per se, as these would be equal positions. However, that does give you some leeway to push back against certain problematic policies. Now, of course, and I don't suppose you would naturally, but this isn't a license to do anything particularly drastic. However, I think this would put you in a position to actually be able to do your job in the situations where you would otherwise be prevented from doing so.
And she says, I like the sound of that. I mean, anything that helps me look out for the best interests of the people is more than fine with me. And also one thing she does bring up is that in terms of the command staff, the caveat is that so basically it's like a strict sort of like totem pole because for example, if the colony administrator is like arrested or killed or missing in action or whatever else, then authority falls to the corporate director. But the problem is if you have two people of equal power, then how does that in an emergency how does that power how does that distributed? And that's something she's asking you to help sort of iron out any potential rough patches in the government. Just kind of bring it to your attention in case the thought did not occur to you.
Well, in the event that something like that would happen, I would put you ahead of the company director or the
God,
company
Out of
representative
character,
in the hierarchy,
motherfucker.
at least for an indeterminate amount of time.
Oh
Now,
fuck, that's funny.
that particular aspect, don't consider that to be permanent, but we'll say indefinite, at least until the current situation is
Resolved.
dealt with. There are certain rumors with a bit more evidence than I'm comfortable with that suggest a connection between the Marauder attacks and certain individuals in the hierarchy. Now, putting just one more degree of separation between one of those individuals and the highest position of power, that seems beneficial.
And Sky kind of nods along and says, yes, I agree. I very much like the way you think, sir.
Mm-hmm. Now, again, just to want to clarify, this particular measure, I won't say temporary, but again, indefinite period of time. Whether it becomes permanent, that's dependent on how things play out in the upcoming days. But thank you for meeting me. If there's anything else that you would like to add, please do so.
And she says, nothing that springs to mind, sir. Thank you.
All right. In
She
that
says,
case,
should I send for anybody else? Is there anybody else you need to speak with? Anything else I could do to make myself useful?
if you could track down the science director and have him speak to me, that would be nice.
Of course. And she gets up and takes her leave. So do you want to speak with him now, or do you want to cut over to another PC? Like, what are we doing here?
I'll let someone else take their turn.
Okay. So does anybody else want to do anything before El Presidente interviews Jace?
If I'm not doing anything, then I'm basically turning into the security guard.
Okay. So do you want to be, on guard inside or outside of El Presidente's office as he sees fit?
I will ask him which he would prefer.
Well, I'm back on, so we could do the interrogation. If
Oh,
you'd-
okay. Yeah, I mean, if
Ooh,
you're
I
feeling up
like the
for it.
sound of that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, so now the question is, do you want to interrogate? I mean, you've got a lot of people that got thrown into the brig. Do you want to interrogate the Russian? Do you want to interrogate Whiskey? Like, who are you?
How many people has El Presidente been arresting?
So he, so he.
How many? Yes.
Well, let's see. So you guys captured the Russian guy from last session. Whiskey got fucking arrested on your orders, and then the second El Presidente was in power, pretty much he took the measure to have Agent Lattimore, the former company director, and Havelock, both of them have been arrested as well. So you've got 4 people in your brig.
What we could role play this, but can you explain why each one was?
Sure.
Or I could just go into and talk to him directly and ask him.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go in and discuss what's going on, you can. So do you want to do that before the science advisor goes in, Blitz?
Yeah. I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear this
Okay.
interaction.
All right. So you page Albert, or Albert comes on his own initiative, whichever, and next thing you know, you are sitting in El Presidente's office. So what's up? Oh, by the way, your stress and wounds would have healed. That goes for everybody.
Ooh, do I have any? I do.
I mean, do
One.
you? Okay, yeah. Well, it'd be gone by this point.
All right. Suppose I'll inform him. So, as you're
I'll come in and the first thing I'll say when I come in is, looks like you've been busy. The brig is getting pretty full these days.
yes. In fact, there have been a couple of openings in the colonial leadership that have been, sort of dumped into the brig there. Now, I apologize, of course, for giving you so much work. However, as we've spoken on before, there's a lot of corruption in the leadership. Now, I'm sure you may be wondering, why are the former company director and the former chief engineer in jail? Now,
Yes, I am.
there are certain connections between not just the large sums of money disappearing on their watch, but in addition to that, there's evidence that they've been working together to subvert the interests of the colony as a whole, and potentially a connection to the recent Marauder attacks. Now, for certain specifics, you'll have to speak to Conrad on that. However, I would like you to get to the bottom of this and make it your primary mission to recover as much of the missing funds as possible. We're going to need those to resolve the back pay situation, where a lot of the workers have been shorted on their salary.
Well, I can certainly work on that. Right now, my priority is the security of the colony. We eliminated one team of the Russian mercenaries, but there could be others. Although, without Whiskey funding them, perhaps they may no longer be much of a threat. You mentioned you had evidence against. It's out of character. It's Lattimore and Havelock, right? The
Yeah,
two guys.
Lattimore and Havelock were the 2 command staff of the previous administration that were arrested.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll say, Havelock I'm aware we already knew about some of the issues with Havelock, but this is the first I'm hearing about Lattimore. Can you explain? You said that there was a connection between them. Can you explain that?
Yes. Now, as far as the information that I have currently at hand, there is or was rather, an ongoing deal between Lattimore and Havelock, where Lattimore would use her position to sort of cover up for Havelock. And for specifics, you'll have to speak to Conrad Bass, as he has been sort of undergoing that investigation. But that is what I know and currently have at hand.
Okay. What have you filed charges against them yet, or are we still investigating at this point?
It's still an ongoing investigation. I'd like to have as much solid evidence as possible before taking any actions there.
Yes, I agree. Out of character, would I know all of the new appointments at this point, or I know Arturo's been having meetings. I don't know if he's announced them yet.
You were present in the Albert was at least present in the meeting where
Yep.
Conrad was giving all of his recommendations for different positions, which basically the nutshell of that, like, apart from the PCs like being given the positions that we discussed before, Jace, the science advisor, and Sky, the union steward, they're staying in their positions, and then Danny, the woman from engineering, is replacing Havelock. So you were present in that meeting, so
Okay.
you're aware of that. That was the plan.
I guess I'll tell to Arturo. I know we've made a lot of changes to the council as needed if there's been a conspiracy going on. Are you concerned about having too many new faces? I know I just arrived on both of us just arrived on the colony, and so did Simone and Conrad.
Well, in certain situations, especially when there's been particular issues with certain members of the council, fresh faces can be a good thing. Now, that's not to say that experienced individuals don't have their place, because of course, experience is a very useful thing to have. And that is why, in part, I've appointed the new chief engineer. Would be out of character, Danielle.
Daniela
Danny
Muniz.
Muniz.
Yeah.
Or you can just call
Danny
her Danny.
Muniz.
Yeah.
But back in character. And that's why I've appointed the now chief engineer, Danielle Muniz. And in the case of the other individuals, like particularly the previous prospector general, complacency seemed to be the major problem there. So a fresh face was deemed necessary.
I can't disagree with that. Out of character, at the meeting that we previously had. So am I officially the sheriff now, or has that not gone through yet?
I would say, like, it basically, in terms of the amount of time, so let's see, there's been it would be, tomorrow probably, that, like, almost certainly I'll just say tomorrow, that you officially get handed over as the sheriff. But like I said earlier, by this point, Sheriff Jones, he's pretty much just, like, he's more or
Lame
less
duck.
giving you authority equal to his own. It's just he's still technically in charge, but by tomorrow he won't be.
Okay.
Like, he's been giving you more power just so you're prepared. just for like to make the exchange of power go a little more smoothly, just so you're not like like from his point of view, like completely unfamiliar with the way things are going at the colony, and then suddenly you're in charge. He's just trying to kind of gradually build you up, but by this point you have basically equivalent power to Sheriff Jones.
Understood. Well, I will. I guess I'll be officially taking over the sheriff role tomorrow. So it looks like we'll have a new command staff or a new uh, colony council. If there's nothing further, I will return to my duties. I'm planning to do some interrogations the rest of today. We have a lot of people to talk to.
All right. I will leave you to do your job as you see fit.
All right, thank you. And I'll walk out.
Okay, so you head out. So my question: do you guys want to focus on the interrogation first, or do you want to focus on I mean, probably the interrogation, but I mean, if you guys prefer the interview with Sky, that's or actually no, you already interviewed Sky. Never mind. Sorry, I don't know why I thought that.
Conrad would like to now. It depends on what you say, Cody. Would he have had time to do it? How would things sync up? Ideally, Conrad would have liked, after his kind of short stint there with his former colleagues, he would have liked to snoop around in his new corporate director's office and see if there are
Okay.
any incriminating files. He is expecting to be something hidden under layers of encryption. If there is
Okay, I'm
anything
glad you
available.
asked. So, give me a Comtech roll, I would say, at a -2.
Okay.
This is also the fucking first roll of the session, now that I think about it. Also, Blitz, in answer to your question,
Yeah, I googled it and I got an answer.
well, no, I was going to say that, well,
Oh.
first I'll address that roll in just a sec, but in answer to your question, the command, like the colony admin, I think, like, you don't necessarily have to do that role. It's just that, like, so the different attributes, there are 6 of them, and basically you're like a wild card in the sense that you can potentially overrule and roll any single one of those yourself.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you don't have to do one of the roles. Basically, there's 7 positions. 6 of them are assigned to specific roles, but the colony admin can roll any of them himself or herself, But so don't worry about
It's very
the
cool.
skill issue.
Yeah.
So
Okay. skill issue.
well, yeah, literally a skill issue. So
Yeah.
anyway, so in answer to your role, are you going to just
Can I?
keep it?
Yeah, I'm gonna push for more
All right, yeah, if you want
information,
to push.
and I can push wits twice. So, he's really sweaty trying to find
Yeah.
anything he can use.
All right. How about it?
He's turning into the sweaty,
Ah,
investigator.
goddamn.
So, all right.
Well,
Well,
let's do it. The new stress
Oh
rolls.
fuck.
okay. Roll 2d6, and then
The
we'll
colony
see.
collapses immediately.
No, he's just hacking a computer. It's not gonna.
It's not going to be that bad.
Okay.
Watch, he actually accidentally starts it on fire.
So hold on.
Nice. I've already put in my resolve in the calculations.
So it would be 4
it's 4 plus 1 stress
minus resolve.
5. No, it's already minus resolve.
Oh,
The 2d6 is 8 minus 4 plus 1, so it'll be a result of 5. On the
okay.
new
Loud noise.
shit.
So basically, just stress level +1 for you because you're the only one in the room.
Yep. I'm just screaming fuck because I want more, but I know there has to be more, but I can't find more.
Yeah. So, yeah, God, I'm trying to figure out how to fucking.
Actually,
Yeah.
Can I use a story point?
I
for
was
an
about
extra
to
success?
say yes, you can. And that would actually be.
I will.
All right. Because I was going to ask you if you had any. So if you're going to use one of your story points, so you hack the computer or like you get access to the files, and you actually get financial reports. Like, and when I say financial reports, I'm talking reports that Lattimore tried to hide.
Oh, nice. Oh, no,
because
that is
she
some good evidence.
like basically it's a financial log of all of the like basically all the money that was skimmed off from the workers in engineering.
A connection. Fuck yes.
Yeah, but it the thing is of interest is that it didn't actually, from what you can tell, it didn't actually go to Lattimore or Havelock. It actually went to the higher ups of Wayland Corps, not necessarily like the people on the same level as like Vickers, but definitely more like more elite people than just anybody at Terra Nova.
Oh fuck.
Oh shit. That's above our pay grade, literally. Oh, so it's legalized corruption. Oh damn.
So
Okay.
well,
Sorry,
here's the
Can you
thing.
repeat that?
Sure. So the money that basically Conrad just found financial reports that indicate like the money that was being skimmed from the people working at engineering. But the thing is that money was not going to Havelock or to Lattimore. It was going to somebody above Lattimore, like somebody outside the colony.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and Conrad will immediately, when he finds that, he's going to just come out and let everybody.
Before you do that,
Okay,
I was going to mention also. Do you have any extra story points?
Okay, I'm gonna use my last one. I'm gonna do it.
All right. So bonus piece of information. Lattimore and Havelock.
That'll be the third success. Yeah.
Like I said, they weren't taking money from themselves, but you can actually at least from Lattimore, you can tell that she was actually getting like bonuses / a raise from her actions. Like she wasn't taking the money for herself. She was basically being rewarded with a pat on the head and a few extra bucks for her actions.
So she was getting a cut from the siphoned funds.
Basically, yeah. Like she wasn't taking it for herself. Okay. She was sending it to somebody else and was getting paid more in exchange.
Yep, this was directed very specifically. This was a job she had.
Like it was basically it's on a separate record, so it doesn't look like she was just taking some for herself. On one hand, it looks like she basically the story points. So the one story point is she, it looks like, oh well, she's taking that money and she's sending it to somebody else. And then you look a little closer and you're like, wait a minute, and she was getting paid more in response for her actions.
And you said this is going to the higher ups at Wayland-Yutani. Am I sure that it's Wayland-Yutani that it's
Wayland
going
Corps,
to?
but yeah, because
sorry, timeline, Wayland's Corps.
Yeah, it's not necessarily. I mean, like I said, it's not going to the very top, but like whoever is managing, like the colonies, like this sort of sector of space, whoever, like the equivalent of, like I guess like a Moff in Star Wars, who like somebody who governs a sector rather than somebody who governs a planet. Like
going to their personal accounts.
That cannot be determined. It just you can tell the money is going to somebody beyond Terra Nova.
So a higher up personnel from it's officially a personnel from Wayland Corp, but we do not know if it's officially sanctioned by Wayland Corp or if it's
a personal bonus for somebody.
Personal corruption.
That much you cannot tell.
Require investigation. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
You do have concrete proof that Lattimore was skimming money from the workers and sending that to somebody beyond Terra Nova, and was in turn being paid for her actions.
So Conrad kind of makes a show. He literally kicks the door out, makes a show of it, and he just loudly struts across to El Presidente, and I don't know if Albert is still there, and if he is, he's just
I was thinking also that when you after you were like, what the fuck, from your panic result, and couple that with storming out, like you have like Danny and fucking Sky looking out to see what's going on. Potentially also somebody else.
I'm looking at him, staring at him like, you're weird.
While he's moving up, he just turns to them and says, it's all you thought and a lot worse. And he just continues going up.
Oh god.
Oh god.
He likes doing little teases. He's that kind of fella. Oh,
Of
if
course.
if he sees Albert on the
Well,
way,
yeah. Well, Albert, I think by this
yeah,
point would have probably stepped out.
it,
So
Albert is
Yeah, yeah.
out there. Okay.
yeah. So yeah.
Well, I went. I'm gonna do the interviews.
Yeah.
or
He's going to interview
interrogation.
after you do this.
So Conrad will basically, as quickly as he can, relay the extra damning evidence he has on everything that is found about Lattimore, the connection with the engineer. It's all there. No connections as of yet to the Marauders, but what we have found is, oh boy. And he's basically, this is going to. This is something that we need to treat delicately because I'm very worried if this is corruption that is sanctioned officially from the company, or it could very well just be somebody's personal accounts that is higher up. So maybe it's not company sanctioned and should be routed out. But if it's somebody on an even higher position, we need time to make an official investigation of that before we can take any one of those bastards down. But this is what I found, and um, I'm I'm here to do whatever it takes. We are going to make sure that nobody steals from us.
I see. Well,
If you need that for the interrogation, let me know to give you the official evidence, so you can charge Lattimore with the needed the needed charges.
I'm going to say, call Zims and give this to him immediately, or a copy. That's going to be important for his job.
Okay,
Especially
where is he?
he's going to interrogate these individuals right now. He just left. You should be able to catch him if you call him, or
I may not look it, but I'm quick on my feet. I'll go get him right away.
All right.
So
okay,
he's
so
chasing after him.
all right. So the question is for Albert: would you want Conrad to catch up with you with this information, or would you rather go in blind?
Yeah, I can arrive later if at the end or whenever is the time dilation needed.
I mean, if Conrad is running, like, I'll leave it up to the GM whether, like, I'm not in a hurry to go. Like, I'm just walking in a normal.
All right.
Pace,
Well,
so
then in
we'll
that
leave it up
case,
to your discretion.
Okay. Well, then Conrad catches up to you. So, because he wants to do that and you don't mind, so I'll say yes. So yeah, you hear rapid footsteps, heavy breathing, yeah, shouting Albert. So.
Albert.
Albert.
And you see his.
I'm just gonna be like,
sweaty
what is
form.
going on with this guy? I'll be like, what's going on? Is there an emergency?
Well, sort of. Arturo told me that you're going to interrogate the prisoners. You need this information right now before you say anything to them. You need to be armed with evidence for them. I just found you the smoking gun against Lattimore and Havelock, and he basically sends him a copy on his PDAT or just connects it to him and relates the same thing.
Okay, so I guess we're probably in a hallway somewhere, so I'll be like taking a brief look at it, but then when I realize what it is, I will tell Conrad, okay, let's step into my office here.
Okay. So yeah, you don't have an office at the command center, but you know, if you're at the police station, you can just go to your office there.
Yeah, we would go to
Okay. So you step into your office, close the door.
So what do you think, Albert?
Well, I can't say this is shocking. I've seen these sorts of kickback systems before. All too common in the corporate world.
Fortunately, I can attest to that, yes.
Have you told Arturo?
I have.
What was his response?
He just told me to let you know as soon as possible so that you can use the information appropriately when you're interrogating them. I mean, you have everything you need with these files. I mean, of course, there's so much more that we would need to find out from them, which I doubt that they will say willingly. But I don't want to tell you how to do your job. Please don't take this in the wrong way. But just not even advice, just as a suggestion, as an idea. Um, of course, yeah. Since I took Latimer's position, she will definitely not want to see me. But I have talked with Havelock before, and even though it was a bit of a tense conversation, I do believe I have earned his respect, and I believe that I could help in wringing some of the information out of him. Now, out of character, this is for me. This is what I've been reminded on my character sheet. I have a
Oh,
stunt, manipulation
yes,
stunt with him.
you do.
Why,
Oh
that's
God.
why I'm.
Oh
Yeah, I'm
fuck.
using it. He should help me in some the way the GM says.
I've already thought of how he
Unexpectedly,
does
yeah.
it.
So basically,
Sorry,
that's the
who
out
is
of
it?
character. Havelock is the chief engineer.
Or
So
was.
Was so the notes of the corrupt dealings that we have here. The chief engineer Havelock, he's been screwing around his workers. The results have been more and more productive and increased profits. One of our best districts, but he has been skimming off the profits. They have not been going to the workers. They've been working more hours, but not with appropriate pay increases. And we know that Lattimore has been protecting them. Now we have evidence of that. So the engineer has been gathering the money, sending it to Lattimore. Lattimore has been protecting him, Havelock, and Lattimore has been sending it up the chain to somebody else officially in Wayland Core, but we don't know if it's officially sanctioned by the company or not. That's the gist of it. But Conrad believes he can get information out of the chief engineer because he believes he has been on friendly terms with him. As friendly as it could be with Tall, Dark, and Creepy. So yeah, he's basically asking if he can be present during the interrogation of Chief Engineer Havelock because he offers that he could help get any information because he's a familiar, friendly face. That's his offer, basically.
So I'm considering this, or Albert is considering this, and Albert decides he needs to know a little bit more about Conrad's motivations here. So what I'm going to say is, I find it interesting that you would, when you discovered this scheme, you would immediately bring it to to our attention. There's a lot of people in your position who wouldn't do the same. Why wouldn't you use this as an opportunity to cut yourself the same deal that Lattimore already had? I will do like I want to do like a manipulation roll or something. I want to
Hmm.
because I'm trying to see if he's going to tell me the truth
Okay.
here.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, if you want to do an opposed manipulation,
I'm
both players are fine with that. I'll say yeah.
I'm okay. I'm okay with this. I mean, Conrad will say what Conrad will say, but if
Okay.
Albert wins the manipulation, he will get more
Fair.
information. Is that the whole truth, not the truth, or whatever? But yeah, well, why
Okay.
not?
Well,
That'll be
both. All right.
fun.
Both of you roll manipulation.
Well, how about you say what you're going to say first, and then we can roll. Does that make more sense?
Okay, okay, okay.
That's a good point. So give your answer and see
Mhm.
if Albert buys it.
So so Conrad first has a confused look on his face. Oh, damn! I forgot I could do that. Oh shit! Jokes. I'm joking. I'm joking, Albert. No. Uh, jokes aside, and as he kind of gets a serious look on his face, I know. I know what people think of the company, and I know that being in such a large corporation with such influence, it has a lot of bad apples. Uh, I do know that. The reason why I would do such a thing is, even though I seem like another just another corporate stooge, I I wasn't always like this. I wasn't born with a golden spoon in my mouth. My fa- my father was a janitor at Wayland Core at the very early days, and you know he s- I wasn't a very affluent and special kid there. He worked his ass off to get me into good schools and to get me good enough connections to start working there. And I've been working my way up, not to not to have power or do any of the boring corporate shit that everybody does. No, I was a people person, but I do ruffle some feathers here and there. I was sent here to so people can stop looking at me where I was. And out of spite, I want to prove everybody wrong who never believed that I could do anything worthwhile and that I could do anything better than the other corporate fucks of my colleagues.
All right, well,
I generally care about this colony. I genuinely want this place to be the best that it can be. And if I just did what Lattimore did, that would not be the case. I do not believe that. What I'm doing right now is for the future of Terra Nova. Everybody will understand that one day. That's his spiel.
Okay, so let's roll and see if
Yep.
Yep.
see what happens.
all right.
That's gonna be fun.
Okay.
I'll push.
Yeah, you can push because you're the aggressor in this case, quote unquote. Okay, so
So I win, right?
yeah,
2-1.
yeah, 2-1, yeah.
Yes. Okay. I mean, you, Cody, can say what you want here, but if you'll allow me, I can give kind of more information, and you tell me if that is good
Sure.
enough or not. Okay. I will say that especially this last part, what he said about he wants what's best for Terra Nova, that is mostly true. He has a vision for Terra Nova, and he what he thinks is best for Terra Nova, he is working towards it. He really does care about that, and his kind of history, that is all true. But you will definitely know that that is not the whole truth. There is more uh more complex motivation. There is definitely stuff that he is
Yeah, just the tip
withholding.
of the iceberg,
Yeah.
kind of. Okay.
Yeah. Is that okay enough, Cody?
Oh yeah, no, that's perfectly sufficient.
Okay. So you know, I guess Albert would be used to people having ulterior motives, but I do. Albert does trust that you are being sincere in like wanting to improve the colony and wanting to root out this corruption. So Albert will believe that is your goal. I think that that's a fair outcome
Yeah,
here,
I
right?
mean, yeah, you definitely would pick up on the fact that, as Conrad, will add a character mention that there's definitely more to it, but at least surface level what he's saying, nothing he's said is a lie, but that's not necessarily the full truth. So I think that's sufficient. Um, so no, that does bring us back to the point of, are you going to permit Conrad to join you in questioning any of the prisoners, or?
Yes, I believe I already promised him that. I am going to have a follow-up question though.
Sure.
Okay.
So I'm going to say to Conrad, I noticed during our fight with the Russians, you handled yourself well, and I know that you claimed that the wounded Russian was reaching for a gun, but I didn't see that, and I want to know. I want to know.
Oh,
You have anything to tell me about that incident?
oh, I can't wait to hear this. Popcorn out, people.
An audible gulp is heard from his throat. But I'll give you this. I think I think he would say something like this.
Who
Are you
hasn't put down a
sure?
wounded animal as a mercy kill?
Are you?
Jesus Christ.
I
Sorry.
I was close. I was closer to her than you were, but to be honest, Albert,
I'll just cut him off and I'll say, I know how the game is played. Young, inexperienced corporate agents don't behave the way that you did. Well, wait. Well, actually, what age is Conrad? Is he like relatively young or is he older?
That's a good
well,
question. How old is he?
his. I'm looking at his picture and kind of thinking, also with his history.
Oh, like late 30s at
Um,
the earliest.
yeah. I'd say I'd say he looks older than he is, in the sense he just not been nice to him in the look department, but at the same time, even though his body is strange. I mean, you think on the surface, yeah, he's a kind of corporate couch potato, but at the same time, he can somewhat. He's not in the worst shape you would expect. So yeah, I'd say he looks between middle 40s and late 30s. So
Well, I
yeah.
think I would have reviewed. I can't remember if we did this in character or not, but I mean, you can just tell me like how old is the age of your character because I think I've reviewed it.
I'll put a
Like mid 30s.
39 to yeah, I'll put a 39 just to say that he looks older than he is. Time has beaten the shit out of him.
Okay. So you're not actually that young. So what I'll say
No.
instead is because I wanted to say this correctly. Um, in my experience, um, most corporate agents prefer to get others to do the dirty work rather than doing it themselves.
True.
So
But
I want to know, why are you so different?
I severely do not want to just be another typical corporate agent. That's not how my family raised me. That's not where I come from. I d- I know that I can be better and that a company deserves better employees than just uh, corporate stooges sitting in their cubicle. Nothing is ever going to be done if I'm just holed up in the office. That's that's the only way I've gotten to where I am, because I was willing to do what my colleagues weren't. They were too afraid and too lazy. And as for that woman that I unfortunately had to kill, I I don't know. I was closer there. I know what I saw. I think I know what I saw, but I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I've been shot twice, but by now, and I don't know. Maybe I was seeing it. Maybe I saw wrong. Maybe she was just twitching from the pain. But
Well, her leg was
you
blown off.
you were
Yeah, I
all
bet she was twitching. I would have been.
I saw her arm moving, and
Yeah, 'cause she was twitching.
I hope I hope I wasn't seeing things, but even I hope that won't keep me up at night, that I didn't make the wrong decision. But then again, how many of those bastards have killed people in that first run?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a pose manipulation here again.
Okay.
As he's
Go at it.
Conrad, it is very suspicious to me.
Okay, well, same
You go at
as
it.
last time. Oh god!
Oh, Jesus.
Fucking hell!
fuck!
I need to start doing the manipulation so I can bloody push for once.
Oh, okay, so
do I need to do
2d6.
a different thing
2d6.
for the?
Yeah, roll
Oh,
2d6.
roll another 6 maybe, because the first one was a 6.
Okay, so 5 plus 1
Yeah,
stress is 6.
Minus
That'll be
3, I
nothing.
think, right? For
Yeah,
my-
so 6 minus 3 would just be 3, and that would mean you just get 1 point of stress. You're frantic.
So I get an extra point.
Yeah, basically frantic result of 3 is if you're on air supply, make an immediate supply roll, also stress plus 1.
Okay.
So in this case, it's just stress plus 1 because you're not.
So this is a
obviously-
stressful situation, and I'm checking out Conrad here.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, with 2 successes over it, yeah, Conrad was pissed at they've been shooting his ass. I mean, he's trying to hide it, but he he was seeing red. That little suggestion there, that was the truthful part. I mean, the other thing about the history about him being willing to go over and above, that is all true. But the thing about not being sure if he was maybe seeing things right or not, that wasn't too true. He knew what he saw, and he took decisions into his own hands there.
Okay. So what Albert has a pretty good idea of who Conrad is at this point, I think. And so I'll say,
Oh
God
god.
damn. P.S. Just for future reference, if I am actively these things are all that Albert was asking me, so it makes perfect sense. But if I'm in the future actively like the one
Yeah, if you're
trying
questioning
to
somebody else,
lie
then
or
you can-
something, okay, yeah.
Like if you're
Without
actually
being
trying
the-
to push a
yeah.
lie, then
Yeah,
then-
if I'm the initiator, but yeah, then I can't be the defender there. Yeah, that's a cool ass mechanic. Okay, sorry, Albert. Yeah, continue.
yeah. So what Albert will say is, well, we're gonna need people who do what needs to be done in extreme circumstances to protect this colony. So I'll just say I don't have any problem with what happened. It would have been nice to have interrogated her, but they got what was coming to them. And can't say I might not have done the same in your position.
Understood, Sheriff. Understood.
Okay. So with that concluded, I will allow. I do trust Conrad enough at this point. I will allow him to take lead on talking to Havelock if Conrad wants to.
Okay. Before you guys go off and do that, I just want to ask again for the sake of Richard and or Simone, is there anything you guys want to do? Whether
Nope, I'm all good.
independently? Okay. Simone?
Nothing that really springs to mind, but I would like Simone would have asked this. I just forgot to ask it last session. Like, could I also be present when you interrogate the Russian dude? If that's okay with Albert and
I don't.
Conrad?
Have you asked me that before? I don't recall.
I don't recall either, but I mean, I'm fine with the retcon.
I forgot to. Yeah, I forgot to ask you last time because it
Well,
slipped my mind. But I
I
would
don't
have
know if I
asked
would let
you
you interrogate
last
him
time.
unless you gave me a good reason. Like, I would probably let
Well,
you like
I just
watch.
want to observe it, not just
Oh,
observation. There we go.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I would
Cool.
do that since you were in the fight. Yes.
Okay,
And
so
you also like were a beast.
She's
so
I
going
forgot
down.
to.
Yeah.
I forgot to
yeah.
ask it. I forgot to
okay,
ask last time. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Considering
Yeah.
I dealt the killing blow to like I think
3 of them.
almost everyone in that
90%.
scenario. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were
Simone
5.
will
Simone killed
be
3,
great.
and then Conrad
Yeah.
coup de grace
Yeah.
the last one, and then one
Simone will
guy
be
got
great there as the bad cop, just standing there and not saying anything. The poor Russian marauder will
No,
be
she's holding the
scared
same
shitless.
storm rifle that she used to kill his
Yes.
friends. So,
Damn.
so okay, and I don't have a map for it, but what I'll do, I guess I'll just you know, for the sake of the
But yeah. Beyond that, I don't have anything to do.
representing the
I
county.
just remembered I forgot to ask last time. But boy,
So I'll
this
just
is
use this
fun.
zone map from before and bro.
P.S. With Arturo's intentions, I think there will be a need for a prison map. The cell.
Yeah,
The cell.
you've got a point.
I don't think this will be the last time they'll be used.
Oh, I'm sure. So hold on, we've got
Open up a
Havelock.
satellite- We're gonna have to open up a satellite prison facility called Terra Nova Bay.
Oh God, Guantanamo Bay in space. I love it. So where is
Y'all are so freaking unhinged, and I love it.
where the hell?
Oh
Oh, generic
boy.
NPCs. So there's that, and then I need, where's Lord Farquaad? There he is. Actually, wait, what the fuck? So hold on, why is his well, actually, no, this token works because this is what he's doing. Or actually, no, hold on, why is it? Okay, apparently the token is showing me one thing in the browser, but it's still his original token, so disregard what I was saying. But so, and then Lattimore, I guess, will be in the upper left. So, yeah, so Albert goes there, and then Conrad and Simone, you can drag your tokens down. So, who are you talking to first?
Sure.
Well, I guess the question is, so there's good reasons to kind of talk to all of them, but that could take a while.
Yeah.
Do we want to try to pound out all of these in this session?
Well, I will.
Because otherwise, like, it might be a lot of me talking if we're going to do that.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Because, and I did want to ask, especially because El Presidente is the determining factor on this. When are you? Well, because he will have to be sentenced in court. When do you want to deal with Whiskey?
He's a very low priority right now.
Okay.
Though theoretically, I mean, each of us can talk to not I'll be leading the talks and stuff, but like Conrad has some things to say to Havelock. Simone doesn't have to say anything, but she'll be present for the Russian. If Arturo wants, he could be the one interrogating Whiskey.
He could.
And
I don't-
Albert will definitely.
I want to stay far away from that individual.
Okay, I get that. Yeah, but Albert will certainly take on Lattimore.
So, okay, well, I guess we'll start with, I mean, I'll just do a D4 roll, I guess, to see, I mean, because there are valid
my
reasons.
preference would be to start with the Russian and then go to Whiskey.
Sure, okay, we can do that.
Because yeah, my preference, my priority, right, is the security aspect. So like this corporate corruption stuff, like there's not time sensitivity in my mind.
Right. Okay.
Makes sense.
So the Russian is there in a cell. He's been stripped of, his body armor and his weapons, so he's just in his fatigues. Just kind of sitting on his like bed and just kind of staring at the wall of the cell, or at the door of the cell rather. So, and Simone, I said you said you were going to just kind of stand beside Albert and spectate.
Sure.
Okay, so while Conrad, is going off to talk to, I guess, Havelock, then we'll focus on Albert for a sec. So the guy is sitting in the cell and he sees you and he looks up. He doesn't say anything, but he just kind of stares at you, waiting to see what you say or do.
This guy lost his leg, right? Is that? Oh
No,
no,
no, no,
that
no,
was the
no, no.
other.
That was the woman that fucking Conrad coup de grace.
Okay. So
This
basically,
guy was basically, I think he was, if memory served, like Dustin, charged him and like subdued him with his pistol.
yeah. So okay, so I'm gonna we'll be in like we'll be in like an interrogation room.
Okay.
Um, and what? So he'll be sitting there like he'll be chained up probably. So I'll come in and I have like my my very stereotypical like folder of evidence type of thing,
Okay.
and I'll like
So
and in the interrogation room, I would be doing the mental warfare stuff. So like his seat is like not flat on the ground, right?
it's at an
And
angle.
yeah, like one of the legs is like too short, so he can't like sit perfectly. And like the light is like flickering. So I'll probably do this for all. Like like I'll probably do this for all of them, you know,
Okay.
because they don't know it.
Okay.
Because this is like the standard thing. So I'm like, okay, I got um yeah. So I go in with the evidence because I'm trying to put them like at it, make them uneasy. Um, and I just start going through the evidence. So I have like a little bag that has the dog tags of his comrades. So I'm like, well, that didn't go the way you thought it would go, did it?
And he says, and I mean, he speaks some English, but he says no.
Oh, do we need to have like a Russian translator?
Um,
Do we need to like role play that?
I would say he speaks enough to converse, but like he's not necessarily a fluent speaker, but he would know enough to be able to, um, have like ask like some basic questions.
Okay, so I'll pull out like another bag, um, or I'll have some pictures of like his dead comrades on the table. So I'll be like looking at those
Oh
for
my
a moment,
god.
and I'll pull out a bag that has some of the like the blood drenched money that we recovered, and I'll be like, so you want to tell me where you who paid you off to attack the colony?
Um, yeah, because the problem with this guy is that he can't plead the fifth, so um,
Well, he
or
can't. I
or
just don't give a shit. Tell me
well, yeah.
whatever he wants. I'm not gonna listen to him.
Well, the thing is that he's not a citizen of the colony, so he doesn't fall under the same protections that the colonists do. So, um, he
You're in my
basically.
world now.
Oh God, that's so sinister, and I love it. So he says that he answered like, well, he specifically wasn't being paid. His boss was receiving money from the client. He said the man who goes by Whiskey. I do not know his actual name.
Ah, I already knew about that. Thanks for confirming. What do you know why you were being paid to do these attacks?
Um, he says, well, I mean, in terms of, again, in terms of, kind of like language barrier, sort of language barrier stuff. Like he understands like the words you're speaking, but not necessarily the intent of the question. Like he takes it at face value and says, he's just a mercenary, and the faction he's a part of kind of does, is hired for whatever purpose. So,
Yes,
um,
I'm asking. Do you know why Whiskey hired your group?
um, he says that he doesn't know for sure, but he, was under the impression that um, it had something to do with making the colony look vulnerable. But he says that he doesn't understand like um, why Whiskey wanted that to happen. I mean, out of character, you can probably come to a pretty solid conclusion on that, but
Right. I'm just
he
trying to
from
gather the
yeah,
evidence.
he just doesn't know.
Do you know, were you specifically ordered to kill the colonists, or was that up to your boss?
He says that his commanding officer, actually, when it like whenever possible, it's actually ideal not like to try to minimize casualties. Not that's not to say like he's not saying they don't kill anybody, but the problem is that if they killed too many people, then that might attract bigger powers. Like they might get a visit from the UNIC or the U.S. military or something like that. Because like they can like they're confident that they can handle the Terra Nova security force, but getting like a fucking military force involved would absolutely screw them over. So he said like the you know they are authorized to shoot civilians if they get in their way, but the caveat to that is, well, to get in their way or be a priority for a mission, but the idea isn't to just go on like an airport massacre. It's basically just to kind of make a point, but not to kill as many people as possible.
Okay. So I guess just in the interest of time, like I'm satisfied at this point, so we can move on to the next interrogation. Unless
So all right, so if you don't have any other questions for him, then do you want to interrogate Whiskey next, or do you want Conrad to question Havelock?
yeah, I want to go in on Whiskey
Okay.
here first, and then we can let Conrad take over.
So compared to Streletsky here, so Simone, are you also going in to see what's going on?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
watch.
So-
So
even
Simone,
though...
you would be watching from outside the cell,
Oh, okay.
on the other
I wasn't sure how
side
it...
of the glass or whatever.
So, well, Whiskey, so contrary to Streletsky, who was kind of sitting in a more composed, idle state, it's like Whiskey, basically, for anybody who's seen the series finale of Avatar: The Last Airbender, when fucking Ozai was in his cell, and he's just like slumped against the wall, just like so defeated. That's basically Whiskey. Like he's just like, just like lying out, lying against the wall.
If it weren't whiskey, you'd actually feel bad for the dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just
Because
like,
he looks so fucking pitiful, but
yeah,
it's whiskey, so
yeah,
he deserves it.
yeah. So he's just like slumped against the wall. Just he's been waiting, like just kind of in boredom, watching the every so often, like watching the time of day change through like the window in his cell. And seeing, like he got arrested around noon, and by this point it's probably like the evening shift. So
Okay. So just give me 1 sec.
sure.
Yeah, so I'll kind of do the same routine that I did with the Russian prisoner here to try to give me like a manipulation type advantage.
Okay.
And I'll be having some evidence. Yeah, I have the photos of the dead Russian mercenaries, and I've got the dog tags and the blood money and all this sort of stuff. And I'm just gonna say, well, looks like you've been a very busy bee, haven't you?
And he says, maybe. Can I just want to talk to a lawyer.
Buddy, I'm the closest thing to a lawyer you're gonna see.
Well, I will point out though that per his status as a U.S. citizen and as a company like like a colonist, he actually does have the ability to talk to a lawyer. Like he does have
He
the
has the
right to remain.
ability, but he's not gonna get the chance. He's on the frontier, and corporate law, corporate law is supreme here, right? There's not U.S. independent government people watching over us.
Well, right, but the thing is that with like so because I actually asked this to like the franchises like Canon Consultant guy Andrew Gaska on Facebook several like honestly months ago, but he basically explained that like the way the colonists like so basically like the government provides the people, the colonists provide like the company provides like the infrastructure. So like on one hand, he follows the laws of the company, but at the same time he has protections as a citizen.
Okay,
If
so
things
like,
are
is
found
there
out.
an actual like? There's actually a system that would like ensure that he gets a lawyer and all that sort of stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like I
Okay.
mean, he may be a colony, like a colonist on a company founded colony, but the thing is that all the colonists, I mean, they come from different walks of life. I mean, like for example, a fucking Australian guy is the bartender, but like whiskey is technically an American citizen, so he would
Okay.
have the ability to talk to a lawyer and resist questioning if he so chose.
So then, okay. So then, knowing that, I'll revise what I said to basically be, you'll get your lawyer soon enough, but we're gonna have a little chat before then. Uh, I'm like reading down a list of paper here. You do realize that treason against what was it, what's the name of the U.S. country? Like I can't remember the name.
United Americas? Oh no,
Yeah,
by the timeline,
Well,
it's
yeah, the
still
United
not the
Americas haven't been
United
formed yet,
Americas.
so it technically
yeah.
would
So
still be
I'll say,
U.S.
yeah. So you do realize that treason against the United Americas makes you eligible for the death penalty, right?
Well, I think actually, well, first of all, like was said, the United Americas haven't been formed yet, so technically it's still just the U.S. The
Oh,
other
okay.
thing, though, is that the thing is that on one hand, because I mean, I understand this is a very complex situation, and I am trying to kind of explain it the best I can. So the thing is that because he, on one hand, treason, I think treason only really applies for like if you're working for the government or the military. But on the other hand, here's the thing: he is working for Wayland Corps, so treason against the company, he has certain protections, like legal protections as an American citizen. But because he committed treason against the company's colony, not the government, that's a whole different ballgame. So
Okay,
it,
so
it
I'll
could be
just
it
say,
could be death, but it could be something else if El Presidente determines it.
sure. But the way I see it is, this is a U.S. colony. It's effectively like if we were just treating it like a U.S. city or town, and he's basically conspired with a foreign group to invade and murder citizens. Like that's, I mean, we we can leave it to the lawyers, but I think for colloquial use in this case, I think saying that he could be eligible for treason is very much
No, I
plausible.
agree with you. I'm saying he has committed treason. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that like the specific penalty for treason in this case is actually up to Wayland Corps,
Oh, okay.
which
Okay. Oh, okay.
yeah.
I understand. And I'll say, and because this colony is administered by the Wayland Company under um, under federal law, that means your punishment is up to the company. You do
Oh
realize that,
God.
right?
And he
Yep.
just says yes.
And the company director got shot twice by his men.
And not to mention that basically the one who has ultimate say over his fate is his political opponent. So
Yeah. Oh, and let me, and I'm just like ticking things off on my hand here with my fingers. Oh, and the guy who's going to be your judge was shot by the mercenaries you hired to kill us. Things aren't looking too good for you right now.
he's just like no comment. Like he's just like he goes from like the pompous, alpha male, manly guy to just no comment. Like he's just so fucking just drained.
No comment, huh? I want to know. Um, you were paying way more money than you could afford on your normal salary. I want to know who gave you the money to attack the colony.
And he says, "Oh, I didn't pay anybody. It's my account, but I didn't pay anybody." It's like just giving this really stupid excuse. And there is more to it than that, I will hint, but I mean, he is trying his best to deflect the question.
I'm gonna say, you don't want to play this fucking game with me, buddy. right now, your best hope is that you convince me you're worth keeping around. And the only way you're going to do that is if you give me information that I need. Otherwise, I'll let the system take its course. And I don't think Wayland is going to look too kindly on someone who almost threatened to, destroy their entire investment in this colony.
Out of character, I'm totally here for it. Just like I cannot wait for the courtroom scene that I have planned. I mean, it's going to probably be next session, but I mean, yeah, Whiskey. Like, I mean, he's still like just absolutely defeated, and just like not really cooperative. But like I said, you are going to have a chance to absolutely smash him into the ground, so worry not. Like he's basically taking advantage of the fact. I mean, like while he is obviously, like I said, just completely dispirited, he at least knows that he has what he thinks is like a chance at getting out of this, and that's why he's trying to take it to court. Not realizing that he's probably going to be way worse off doing so, but that's a different story.
Okay. So, I mean, just like out of character, is he just not going to answer my questions?
Yeah, he's
then?
basically he's trying to play like the right to remain silent card.
Okay.
Because the thing is that unlike the Russian guy, he can do that.
So I guess I'll say, well, it's your grave, buddy, and I'll just walk out.
Okay. So there's that. So Whiskey, he goes back to like slumping against the wall in disgrace. So are you saying anything to Simone on your way out?
I'm just gonna say that guy's a real piece of work, isn't he?
No shit. 'Cause I still, considering he did quite literally psychic and physical damage to me when I listen to his shitty music, I'm not surprised in the slightest that just how big of a piece of shit he is. So you're preaching to the choir, Albert.
Hell, we probably could have prosecuted him for that music alone.
I mean,
Crimes against humanity.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything stopping you. Just tack that on, or I don't know, however you charge him with something.
Yeah.
You are the sheriff.
Endangerment to the public.
Yeah. Public nuisance. Yeah.
Oh Lord. So.
Public nuisance with endangerment.
Okay, so while you guys are doing that, well, either while you're talking to Streletsky or talking to Whiskey, so Conrad has words with Havelock, and
I would not let Conrad do the interview while I'm not there. So now that I'm done,
sorry.
I would give Conrad the sign and be like, okay, you're up.
Okay, so you go over to Conrad, and then the two of you go over to Havelock, and Havelock, I mean, again, he's more like he's when he saw you you guys entering, he's basically like at the time he's just kind of leaning against the wall of his cells, like his cell, like crossed arms, foot against the wall kind of thing, and he sees Conrad enter, and he's like, I wasn't expecting to see you of all people here.
So I would let Conrad go in by himself. So we're staying outside.
Okay.
Right. Well,
initially, I'm watching. I'm seeing what's happening.
Well, yeah, that's just what Havelock is saying to Conrad. He's like, oh, I wasn't expecting you of all people to be here.
Well, Mr. Havelock, our conversation last time was cut a bit short. I think that these circumstances warrant the furtherment of what we were talking about last time. But we can start easily. Do you have any idea why you are here today?
And he says, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. He says, I'm sure our new colony administrator has his reasons, but why don't you tell me what you think I'm in here for, and I'll tell you if you're right or not.
Oh, of course. but I don't need to tell you any speculation. I have something a lot better. And he just he has his little P dad or something always
Yeah,
with
his
him.
little
And
tablet.
he just opens the files and shows him and just flicks through the financial reports one by one. You do understand how this looks, right?
Yeah, he doesn't even know, like, he doesn't even see what's on the reports. I mean, unless you show him, but he sees you going through the reports, and he just kind of nods. Like he he knows what you're referring to. So um yeah.
Since Havelock, I have the impression that you are a capable and intelligent person. Things have been moving fast these past few days, but I will be the new corporate director here, and I will definitely have a vote amongst many with the command staff of what to do with these prosecutions. Now, I do understand that you're just a cog in this machine, in this situation. The best thing I would recommend for you is to help me help you. Help me find out to why Lattimore probably was the one to initiate such a deal with you and to whom they have been sending this to. Any information you may give would be extremely helpful in lowering the potential sentence that would be levied towards you.
So basically you're saying that, if I cooperate, you will see about me getting a lighter sentence.
Basically. Yeah, yeah.
And well, I mean, are
Because I'm
you
trying
are
to
you
do
being honest
the
with
good
him?
cop. Actually, yes.
Okay.
Because he has the greater ambitions of trying to deal with the big problem at hand. He knows that whatever happens, he can send Havelock away and stuff, and Havelock can live his own life with whatever. But he needs to find out who to whom Lattimore has been sending things or any other extra information, and where any extra hidden cash is available, funds and stuff. So basically, everything he can get to help ease his sentence. If he helps him and the colony, he will get
Yeah. Well,
things
I
in
mean, if
return.
you're being honest about it, because like I said, I asked
Yeah,
you that in case you need to do a roll. But if you're going to be honest with him, and especially after your success before,
yeah. That's, he's
yeah, I
going
mean,
for the good kind of vibe here.
he complies to the fullest. Like he will, well, first of all, because he doesn't know the full extent of what you knows, but he basically echoes what you found before, so that he's basically giving confession. He also runs you through the whole deal. The whole deal, like basically what he tells you is that so the company or the colony rather was struggling financially, um, and it was Lattimore's directive from whoever she reports to, which he genuinely does not know the name of the person.
Yeah, that's kind of
And
expected.
part of that because I didn't have a name planned because I wasn't expecting this shit. But so, I will get that name if that's something you guys want to pursue.
Ah, yeah,
But
eventually,
he
no problem.
actually shit. What the fuck am I saying? I have a whole ass like list of names that I wrote for this very occasion.
Billy Bob Thornton.
No, he gives the he gives the name of the person of Lattimore's higher up as Ryan Ashby, which I will put that in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Hold on, let me just pause. We'll put that. Where is it in group notes? So, he gives the name of the higher up of Lattimore as Ryan Ashby. He says that basically like the colony, the financial reports, were um, like the colony was struggling financially in part due to the failings of the Wildcatter division, and Lattimore was like Ashby was basically breathing down Lattimore's neck, and she decided to cut a deal with me that if I could make the engineering engineering department more profitable for the colony, and she was able to get that money um, to Ashby, then we would both be rewarded generously for it.
Mhm.
So he basically,
Okay.
just completely throws her under the bus and just lays out the entire scheme.
Understood. And that's where all of the extra funds have been going. There's nothing else that you know of?
He shakes his head and says no, and he is being sincere. Like, you don't pick up any kind of
Okay.
subtle body language. He's saying, like, basically all the money that he was skimming from the workers' paychecks was going directly to. I mean, he wasn't directly giving that money to Ashby. He was giving that to Lattimore. Lattimore was giving that to Ashby, and then
Yep.
Ashby was giving a bonus to Lattimore, and she would give a cut of that to Havelock.
Yep. That's that's all very corrupt and corporate, and makes complete sense to Conrad in the corporate world. He understands that completely, unfortunately. Um, Conrad nods and says, "Thank you, Mr. Havelock, for your cooperation. If that is all, I won't take up too much more of your time here. Just be aware that for these transgressions, and of course, just as the normal right of an administrator, you have been replaced as the chief from the position of chief engineer. And the best I can hope for your future is just quote unquote banishment, or in the sense of when the next supply shuttle comes, that you be relayed to off to another world. I doubt I would be able to get anything better from Mr. Arthur, our new administrator. I
All
think
right.
that is the best possible, if I can even get that. But for your cooperation, I believe you deserve to know your options there. Those are
He
your
says
best
thank
case
you.
scenarios. Okay. That would be all then.
Okay, and
Thank
I
you
guess
again.
we've got. I mean, that interview didn't take long, so I would say for the rest of the session, we could just, if you want to talk to Lattimore now, we can do that, and then close.
Oh yeah, I would fully like to hear Albert do kind of
Okay.
grill Lattimore
Is
about
it
that.
all is it
Conrad
all
will
three of
be
you,
on the
or is it
outside.
just two, or what's the order of operations for talking to Lattimore?
Conrad will be just for drama's sake. I think, yeah, it would be cool if he would be in there. He would be in a corner. He would just be in a
Just kind
corner
of
and
leaning, watching.
let let Albert do the talking, because he knows that he replaced her and she would not really like her. He doesn't want to stir
Okay.
too much. But before
Okay.
going in there, Conrad does just kind of emphasize to Albert that if he can squeeze out the information of, is this officially Wayland Industries approved, or is this a single kind of corrupt individual that the money is being sent to? And she will probably try to lie and say this is bigger and it's all official, but so that's kind of what he kind of just suggests, that we need to find the truth about those details. That's what he finds is the most important right now.
Okay. That I guess like I will say that you know, in situations like this, things that are unofficial are more official than they might seem.
Always. Yes, we have to take all those situations in mind.
Do we want to continue with this interrogations now, or switch to someone else?
Well, I mean, I was saying like the interrogation probably wouldn't take that long. So if you guys want to just finish up this scene and then call it a day, I think that would probably be a good course of action. So all the interrogations are resolved.
Is it like a police interrogation room with like the one-way mirror or whatever?
Um,
That's what I assumed. But
I mean, based on when he went into the cells to talk first to Streletsky and then to Whiskey, I mean, they're basically just jail cells. You would have a room for questioning people, or you could just, talk to them through the cells, which is what Conrad did with Havelock.
well, no. When I went in, I was saying that we were bringing them to an interrogation room.
Oh, okay, then there you go. Yeah, whatever works.
I'd like to watch, but not be seen or be present. So if that's a capability.
I mean, yeah, if you want to, you can.
All right.
He comes in a hood.
Well,
in a
we can
cape.
just say that you're like on duty or whatever, and you're listening in.
Yeah, you can basically wire El Presidente up to to whatever communication system that you have, so he can listen in on the chat.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
All right, so so now I'm assuming.
What other information does Conrad want me to get out of Havelock here? Or no, we're talking to Lattimore.
Lattimore's the last one you haven't spoken to.
Lattimore. Basically, we need to find out. So she has been siphoning the money off to her higher up. We need to find out why, and we need to find out is this officially sanctioned or just somebody who wants the cash for their personal stuff? Is this officially approved by Wayland Corp, by even more higher ups, or does this stop at her higher up, just taking off money for some of their personal shit? Because that is very important to see. If it's just that kind of a step up, one person, then if we expose them,
Okay.
Wayland Corp will see us as saviors. But if it's even more higher ups, then Wayland Corp is approving all of this, and we have a new approach. Basically,
Okay.
that's why.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, so we'll just skip ahead. We're in the interrogation room with Lattimore.
Okay.
And I'm gonna kind of like lay it out like what we know, right?
Okay.
Which is, Havelock told us everything. We've got the computer records. We know you've been stealing money from the engineering staff. So I don't need you to answer any questions about that. We already know exactly what you did. You're guilty. What I want to know is why you were doing it.
And she says, well, I'm surprised that if you talk to that backstabbing son of a bitch Havelock that he didn't already tell you.
Well, I mean, besides money, of course. Is there anything more?
No, well, other than the fact that the colony was circling the drain financially, the Wildcatter division wasn't getting anything done, and naturally all eyes fell on the engineering staff, and my superior was absolutely standing down my neck of we need to make this colony profitable, and so I turned to Havelock because he was my only other option.
I'm confused here, out of character. So, is she saying that they did this in order basically to buy off the executive?
No, so basically what's going on, what she'll kind of corroborate is, so Terra Nova, has been obviously suffering financial woes due to the various things that are going on, such as the Wildcatters' inefficiency, the previous administration's terrible money management, and so on and so forth. So Lattimore's
How does robbing the
boss.
workers make that better?
Well, let me
Yeah.
hear me out. So basically, what she's explaining is that the boss is saying like this colony is not making enough money. There will be consequences if it falls below a certain point. So Lattimore pressed for options. She was working it out with Havelock because the engineering department was the only profitable division of the colony, that we were going to kind of maximize that at the cost of kind of shafting the workers and not paying them as much to try to bring a little more money in and send that back to the colony,
Okay,
or
so
send it back
basically
to the higher ups.
Okay, so basically they were underpaying the engineers to try to pad the margins to make the colony look like it wasn't losing money.
Basically, yeah. Like the thing
Mhm.
is, the less money they're paying their workers, the more money that's left over as net income that they can send back to the higher ups of Wayland Corps. So she says that the guy that she was answering to, um, as far as she knew, he was forwarding that money to, the financial sort of departments of Wayland Corps as an entity. Whether he might have been taking some off for himself, that's something she doesn't have any access or knowledge of. But um, she wasn't uh, taking the money for herself. She was just doing this because she wasn't left with any other option for how to make the colony profitable again.
Is she
You're
telling the
saying,
truth?
yeah, I'm just gonna clarify here. So let me get this straight, Lattimore. You're saying you and Havelock cooked this up yourselves, and Ashby is otherwise not involved?
Well, Ashby is the reason she did this, but the plan was hers.
Right. Well, he's not like a conspirator. Like he thinks they're just being more profitable.
Yes.
Or is he in on the game?
I mean, because there's a bit of a distinction. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this right. That he
So
Be aware.
in character, what I'll say is, let's be clear. Did Ashby know you were cooking the books?
yes. So he did know of this plan. He didn't come up with a plan, but he did know what was going on.
He was aware and complacent in it just to get the results.
Yeah.
Because
He let it happen.
his it probably makes him look good too to his superiors, right? If the colony's doing well,
Most
so that would
likely.
be his motivation.
I mean, it stands to
Okay.
reason that is the case.
Well, that sort of answers the next question. The officially sanctioned. If they came up with it and he was kind of just playing along, so we don't need to go into that.
Right.
So at this point, I think I'm pretty satisfied.
Okay. So no other questions from anybody else?
Yep.
Okay. So that would conclude the interrogation and by extension the session. So I will. I mean, five XP for all, and between the solid amount of RP, hilarious moments, etc. I will award unto thee each a story point.
Thank you.
Because I plan to do so again with whenever the next story arc, because technically we're kind of in the tail end of the first arc, and like I said, I plan to give story point as a milestone, but I guess in this case with El Presidente finally rising to power and all the other stuff that's going on, I feel it's warranted. So
Oh, this was a momentous occasion.
Oh,
seeing him
absolutely.
finally sit in the chair.
Now to attempt the roll again to see if I get weapon specialist.
Which you do.
Oh.
That was
Nice.
who was hold on. Oh, I didn't scroll down. Yeah, that is Richard. Okay. So
Yes.
all right, so you get weapon specialist, so mark that on your sheet. Does anybody want to increase
Yep.
any skills or talents?
I have increased my manipulation to 5 maximum because I fucking
Perfect.
need it.
Perfect.
Woohoo!
Oh, there was some fantastic questions and detective work from Albert there to snuff out Conrad's weak points. That was bloody awesome.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
spent
fuck.
5
Sorry.
points for I spent 5 XP to bump up my observation to 3.
Okay.
Because that will come in handy as a
Wildcatter, yeah.
wildcatter.
So good call. So El Presidente and or Albert, are you guys doing anything with your XP?
You thinking?
I'm gonna put manipulation to 4.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna do the same.
Nice.
Okay. So
We're
what
all
is your
gonna be flying to each other.
manipulation, Arturo?
4.
Okay, so there you go. Well, other than
Fuck,
that,
What's the max for skills?
5.
Put it to 5.
Okay.
I just realized is Ashby is Ashby now Conrad's boss?
Technically, yes.
Oh fucking shit! he has to live up to quotas now. Oh my god! Oh my god! Simone, I know that Conrad likes you as a friend. He had you as a buddy and everything, but out of character, expect some expectations from your division to actually produce, because we cannot
my
keep on pushing the
Jesus.
other divisions. So if we're gonna be nice to the other ones, then oh my god, yeah, there's gonna be some pressure on the
Oh
Wildcatters.
god.
Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. Oh, Conrad finally
so
thought
the
he was
fucking
doing
manipulation
something.
begins.
Man,
Oh my
Jesus.
god.
for the
going to-
Wildcatters,
Go ahead.
how are they? Sorry.
I was just gonna say I was gonna roll to see if I could pick up tough,
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Ooh.
unless someone has it.
as far as I know, nobody
Yep.
does.
Mm-mm.
All right.
The
unfortunately not.
Wildcatters, are they
point.
paid like
Yeah.
salary or?
Wildcatters,
that work?
they do have a weekly salary, but their main source of income is from going on expeditions and finding, resources or treasures of some kind.
Okay, so
Yeah,
do they get
I
like a
get paid a
commission?
salary, but I get like bonuses and
Yeah,
commissions.
you get
I think.
she gets like kind of the lower end of pay, but that's offset by the fact that she gets really big bonuses whenever she goes out on an expedition.
Okay.
Oh wait, since we're the chiefs of our divisions, do we get a pay increase?
I think I outlined that in the pay section that
Yes.
yeah, at least some of you would get a
Oh, what's
raise.
that?
So
Where's that section?
if you look in notes and miscellaneous info, it's the second message from the bottom, where basically you and Conrad are now making $1,200 per the
Where's
like.
that at? Notes and miscellaneous info.
Yeah, in the Terra Nova sort of category. So
I don't
Discord?
see that.
yeah, it's in Discord. Hold
Oh,
on,
in
I'll-
Discord. Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
which times out nicely because you guys are probably going to get paid like tomorrow. So
Oh, nice.
So-
nice. And ooh, I
yeah.
can't wait for my special situation there as well. But question for the skills: can I back up, and instead of upgrading my manipulation to 5, can I keep it at a 4 and put a point in Comtech instead?
Sure. As long as you have at least one point in contact with somebody to teach you, then that's fine.
Oh, I had 2.
Yeah, then there you go. So
I do
just
have Comtech.
all right.
Oh, nice.
Trying to remember. So just so I understand, so let's see. So I mean, I'll ask again, between this session and next. So let's see. We're gonna have, I'm assuming, Whiskey's court trial next session, right? Is that something you guys want to do?
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'd be down.
All right.
Perfectly fine
Yeah.
with me.
See
I
get
just-
what he has coming to him, because the best part is that the PCs could serve as the prosecution. So
I just remembered next Sunday I certainly won't be able to come. I have a whole hours worth job in the evening where I'm at now, so I certainly won't be able to make it to the whole session, unfortunately.
Oh.
But I will be listening
for just that
to
session,
the
or for
just that
Okay.
session.
okay,
Just that one.
all right. But yeah, let's see. So there's Whiskey's trial. There's the first like board meeting, which I mean, again, Conrad, like you'll have to think about whatever contributions you
Oh,
want
I will.
to throw in there, like any sort of comments you want to make or ideas you have, and then probably Simone's first prospecting thing, and then possibly also the start of the next arc.
Woo!
So there's a
Nice.
lot going on next time.
Hell yeah.
So other than that, hopefully that was a fun session. I had a blast. So
It was great.
It was awesome.
Watching 2 of the party's bullshitters bullshitting each other was very funny.
well, and especially seeing El Presidente, now that he's at his max power, just the shit he was doing. First thing is like, so am I officially the colony? I'm in? Yes, get out.
That was bloody awesome.
Yeah, that was great. I, I I was mentally just like waiting, like, okay, like how soon is he gonna like, go into El Dictator mode? And I was not
Instantly.
El
shocked.
Despote.
Conrad was expecting an investigation to be opened into the the two people, but
Not
when
for them to just get instantly
Blitz
thrown in the brig.
went, yeah, throw him in. Conrad was like, "What? Okay, okay."
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
to
that
be
was
fair,
good.
I don't think anybody saw that coming. There, the fact
Oh,
that
I
he
kind
just.
of did.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I knew they were going to be questioned. I didn't think he was just going to instantly throw them in the brig. So now you have fucking 4 people
Yep.
in your brig.
Yeah. I wasn't going to let
I
them
was like,
destroy evidence. That's the official
which
reason.
was which was a smart thing because I was like, we have to find some evidence. We can't keep them there without good reason and stuff. Since they were powerful people and like,
I mean,
that was a good
we
choice.
totally could keep them there.
Well,
It's when they
yes.
get out and tell someone that we've kept them there. That's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah,
When people
but
start asking questions.
yeah, but it was good how everything turned out. A lot more luckier than we thought, and I was a bit weirded out. I mean, in a good way when Arthur was actually talking quite normally and seriously with Danny and Sky when interviewing them. Like, okay, Arturo has a normal side.
Well, there's definitely what's the word? Pragmatism in speaking to normal people like a normal person. It tends to not freak them out.
But I don't know. It was awesome. El Presidente has some colorful abilities there. I can't wait to see the unexpected shit that'll come
Well, yeah,
in,
wait until
in
we
the
see the
next
fucking
sessions.
first command staff meeting, and you
Oh
guys decide
God.
what fucking Which, speaking of which, be sure to, because like I said, I'm gonna have Foundry up, pretty much nonstop. I mean, unless it like goes down or something. But there is the handout for whatchamacallit.
Initiatives.
Well, yeah, colony initiatives, the Your Colony
mhm.
handout, like the different projects that you can do as a
Currently
group.
reading that.
So
Will that be decided and rolled for next time?
most likely yes, which I can do the roll
Okay.
for you if you.
Yep, no problem. I'll just then look ahead and plan which
Okay.
ones Conrad would
All
vote
right,
for.
sounds
Okay.
good. And you do have also take a look at there's colony and planet info. Actually, hold on. I don't. This is the colony? I need to make that visible. Configure ownership, players, observer. So if you look in colony and planet info in the actors directory, there's a Terra Nova thing. Like I rolled for the attributes ahead of time, like basically when like the game started. So you do have some values in there. And just keep in mind that obviously certain projects can like add to one value and subtract from another.
I was in a campaign where people were playing with the colony, kind of the simulations, the to roll the initiatives for in building. No, in another one I was, but still, it's very fun. It's very fun when we try that. So yeah, I think people are gonna love it.
Yeah, hopefully the first council meeting that the administration doesn't just burn it to the ground, but we'll see.
Yeah, shit can go wrong. Shit
Yeah,
can go very wrong.
the colony
very fast.
can fail.
Yes, it can.
No. Nah.
Well,
Never
there
with El
are bad
Presidente.
random events.
not with El
Yeah, that would never
Presidente.
happen.
And then you just see like the Civ 6 like defeat screen. the fucking whole colony in ruins. Nuclear war, even though the colony didn't have any nukes.
Unlikely. We won't be seeing anything like that.
All right, well, we'll see. So yeah, we'll plan for next week. I'll do it another check-in, but for now, yeah.